Oh, bet that's back here. Let me take that off though. Yo, let me get a mic check real quick. Let me know if y'all can hear me. Let me know if y'all can hear me. We good? Psh, bet that's what I'm talking about. What up, big money Sharita bag? Get the money bag. All right, so we good. All right, man. A few people that's here, man. Do me a favor, click the like button for me. Yeah, click the like button for me, please. Give a little notification. I should have sent the email out. Yeah, how y'all feeling today? This beautiful afternoon, fresh out of prayer. About to make a move. About to make a money move on some real estate. Yeah, man. Michael, what up? You know, yeah. Octavie, what's happening? Peace and blessings to you, Tawana. What up? Peace and blessings. Excuse my hookah habit. All right. So look, this some of this stuff is some old stuff I done years ago. Look how old this is, right? This is back in 2020. You know what I'm saying? You know, February the 8th, 2020. You know, I like to give a salute to my OEA. Day is 216th birthday. And I kind of just really want to go back over some Lincoln histories just for the YouTube thing, just in case anybody ever search and really kind of want to get some insight on Lincoln. I think he is absolutely the world. Check it out. The world, people that live outside of the United States of America, the world sees Abraham Lincoln as the most popular US president of all time. That's amazing. They don't even live in the United States. And their reference to presidents when it comes to their perception of the United States is Abraham Lincoln. But yet, some of us as black folks, we be like, oh man, Lincoln ain't that. Lincoln was a racist. You tripping. Well, Jew share something with me where he said Jim Carrey says something, and I'm gonna paraphrase it. You know, salute to those of you who can hear new information that may challenge old information or old thoughts of which you believe, and then to be able to make a decision to change your mind and accept the new information. Because a lot of us really can't do that. You know what I'm saying? All right. So, man, where would I even begin? That's old work. Then I came back 3 years later again on his birthday and gave him some, tributes again. Um, but today Lincoln turns 216 years old, and I said, "Oh, stop playing 216. You got to be kidding me." Now, 216 is important because in the Patreon, I wrote a paper called Fractal 216, which is, a very, very, very important piece. And I'm gonna show you how important 216 is as we go through some of this stuff. So on another paper called Fractal 26, each sign will rule an age for 2,160 years. That's 216. Okay. And that's a fact. So these zodiac signs that you see rules an age for 2,160 years. Okay. So 216 is important because it directly relates to the length of time, an age will be upon us. Now, this age is very important because I was in contemplation about it. Like I think that human beings think that we really shouldn't adhere to what the age is calling for, right? The Quran says the commands Allah created the seven heavens and seven earths, meaning planets, and his commands flow within them. So God's communication flows through the seven heavens. And so once you understand what the heavenly law is, then I believe it is our obligation to abide by these commands, right? And so we got a choice. We don't have to. There, the Quran talks about like three different people on two different occasions at least. You got the non-believer, you just don't believe, and that's fine. Then you got the hypocrite, the person who act like they believe and being, but then they do things in total contradiction to what it is that they believe in or say they believe in. And then you got the believers. And that's a very interesting process to group people up in these three categories. Heavenly law is the expression and the communication of the creator. So we are obligated to uphold this, especially when you're people of African descent. Why do I say that? Because historically speaking, you were always in union with the cosmos, pre-Bible, pre-Quran, pre-anything. Some of your one of your most glorious civilizations, Kemet, Egypt, you're building monuments, pyramids, and what we call obelisks, which is really called a tekken obelisk, to point to the heavenly bodies. You're naming the deities after these principles in nature. Ra, the sun god, Aset or Sebdek, the goddess of Sirius. You're setting up your civilization based upon heavenly law. The Greeks will come into Egypt, get schooled in Egypt, and the Greeks then create their cosmology: Zeus, Jupiter, Saturn, Kronos, right? Uranus, you know what I'm saying? Oh, okay, that's the planet Uranus. You know what I'm saying? Like Diana, the moon goddess, you know what I mean? Aphrodite, Venus, Ares, the god of war, Mars, right? So they're setting up their civilization according to cosmic law, as we should. What else you gonna do? All of our calendar systems, all of them. This one behind me, the greatest calendar system, is based upon the same. For heaven's sake, it has stars in it. You're like what is this reference to stars all the time, right? What's going on here? Right? So we gotta come back to the original fold of being cosmic beings and having cosmic consciousness. And whatever that law is, we follow that law. Period. That's the mandate. That's the order of the day. Ain't no ifs, ands, and buts about it. This is the age of Aquarius. Aquarius dictates that humanity starts to evolve themselves. This is the age of enlightenment. It entails that we go beyond our comfort zones to really include humanity inside of the things that we're doing. And it's very interesting because Aquarius is opposite Leo. I'm gonna take my time today, so we're gonna be here. We're gonna have some great conversation today. Aquarius is opposite Leo. Leo is the sign of love, but Aquarius is in opposition as a balancing point to this. Okay. So that means our idea of love, romance, which is Leo, right? And when I say this, you don't have to be these signs. This is the principle that ultimately corresponds to a bodily system in your body. Okay. So Leo is the heart and cardiovascular system. So the heart is your chamber of love expression. Okay. Now, you see how beautiful we know what the heaven is, and then it corresponds to the body, and then we start to exhibit what that principle is. Oh, I love you, and Valentine's Day is coming, and you give us heart-shaped candies and all this kind of stuff, right? That's a reflection of cosmic law, okay? Which it should be, okay? But Aquarius being the only sign that is directly opposite Leo, because in a circle, like a wall clock, it's only one number that's opposite. Everybody else is kind of to the side, right? So it can only be one number that's opposite. So in the zodiac wheel, there can only be one sign that's opposite each sign. So for Leo, that is Aquarius. So now, what did that mean? Well, we're in the age of Aquarius, and Leo is so far fetched. This concept of idea that we have about love, it has to have an Aquarian touch to it. Everything has to have an Aquarian touch to it. You see it. Look at it in money. It's called Bitcoin. It's called cryptocurrency. Look at it in communications. What? We communicating right now via technology in real time, and we thousands of miles apart from each other, right? So you're going to see it show up in everything. Look at health. Man, you got a health tracker on your phone to monitor how many steps that you're taking. Health is Virgo. What that got to do with Aquarius? Implementing technology to monitor your health. So technology really is in every sector of creation, far as the zodiac wheel goes. Capricorn, government, please, you know that's technology. Anything you can name is there, right? And that's just on the technology front. But what about this concept called enlightenment that Aquarius rules? What about this concept called humanity that Aquarius rules? You understand what I'm saying? And so we all are going to be challenged a great deal in this particular age to uphold these truths. Now, we got a choice. We do got a choice. We can be a hypocrite, as the Quran says, and not uphold these truths. They say we believe, but we really don't believe. Okay? So I'm just here. I'm just the messenger of the Aquarian age. That's all I am. I'm just sent here to show you how this works, and then I'll be on my light beam up out of here. All right. So each age is important, and we must understand the Aquarian frequency. What a coincidence! Abraham Lincoln is an Aquarius. Well, like that's really that's like magnificent glory of the Creator, right? We took a story from the Bible, Abraham. Your people will be slaves or strange people or an oppressed people in a foreign land for 400 years. And then we walk around here and we be like, yeah, we 400 years of slaves. Government, you owe me some money. We've been 400 years of free labor. Whoopty 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 whoop. So we say, okay, we identify with this biblical state that was told to Abraham. That's a fact. Black people walk around here and say we were 400 years a slave. We was not 400 years in slavery, but that's fine. If you want to say that, that's cool. My point is, if you identify with the God conversation in the Bible with Abraham, then why can't you identify that it was Abraham Lincoln that came and said, I'm going to break this yoke of 400 years up off you? Look how magnificent that is. Now, on a whole nother level, we really should be asking a question like, wait a minute, could it have been that people was reading that scripture so much so on a spiritual, mental level that actually played as a creating catalyst for slavery to exist in order for us to get into a future timeline where Abraham Lincoln will be the one that will be the most famous of the presidents, the famous one that breaks the domestic yoke of slavery? That's a question we should ask. Because see, I say that, I'm just telling you this today. If you really believe in the law of attraction, thoughts create reality, your moods, your actions, you would think twice about free press, because that's dangerous. The freedom of speech and free press, because thoughts create reality, that's dangerous. But see, we lucky. We real lucky that the government itself hasn't really figured it out, that what's creating phenomena in this reality. There's a teaching in the Nation of Islam that says, listen, man is creating rain, hail, snow, and earthquakes. All of this is caused by you, and you don't even know it. Think about that. Now, if this could be quantified and case studies was given and proved, you would mess around and be in a, let's just say, a China, Russia type of government. You really would be, because everybody's thoughts and speech running rampant and get this public attention, i.e., observation, which is a very critical thing in quantum physics that says when you start observing these things on the ideal or invisible plane, even on the mental plane, that thing will absolutely come about and crystallize as a material event. So freedom of press is dangerous. For real, for real. Oh, the Simpsons predicted this and predicted that. It's predictive programming. It's not predictive programming. It's observational programming. You watched it and then you happen to laugh, which put a positive emotion into it, and that crystallizes as an event. Okay. All right. So I just want to put that out there. All right. So anyway, all right, let's move on. All of the pyramids and mound structures are part of a global pyramid matrix. Again, this is a paper I wrote last year sometime. The structure of each site, along with either its latitude and longitude, encodes the location of another pyramid or mound. These sites are magnetic anomalies, which are they are amplifying locations that boost our thoughts. So when you go to these sacred sites, these are the sites that you need to go to do your visualizations. For real, for real. Okay. Now, if we look at the word on the left or the right, rather, where it says battery, you will see that that word in Hebrew is 100% identical to the left where it says mound. SOLLH. That's Hebrew. Okay. Same word. So a mound, like the native mounds, is a battery when you come into the Hebrew. And we know that these places carry energy, hence why you think they built them? Just to look cute? No, they didn't. There's an energy that's there. Okay. All right. So here's a little map. And I tell y'all all the time, y'all should locate the one that is closest to you. If you down south, I personally think Emerald Mound in Tennessee is in Mississippi is the bomb diggy. All right. But there's places, and we can clearly see where the capital, as far as states go, we can see who rocking the mounds. We can see where they clustered up at. Now you'll see them all along the Mississippi River if you know geography. All them red and blues going vertical from Illinois all the way up, really Minnesota, all the way down to Illinois and Tennessee and into what's that, Mississippi, Louisiana. Yeah, that's the Mississippi River. They built a whole bunch of them, but the capital by far is the O to the H to the I-O. By far, center, the heart center, the heart of it all, as the state slogan is. It's a cluster of mounds that's centered there in Ohio. Coincidence, the same space that our ancestors, slaves, ran to get free. Cross that Ohio River, you free. You cross the Ohio River, you was in Cincinnati if you coming directly that way. All right. But that was the land of freedom as marked in the 1787 Northwest Ordinance. Okay. Now find a mound that is near you. Become a frequent frequent visitor of it, become one with it. That's your spot. That's your pyramid right here in your own backyard. Many of us don't know that. We got pyramid structures in our own backyard. You don't have to go out the country to get it. Nothing wrong with that, but I'm just letting you know there's some stuff in your own backyard. Okay. Here's Cahokia Mound, bigger than bigger than the Great Pyramid of Egypt. The base is. So this for us in North America, this is outside of St. Louis, technically in Illinois. All right. This is our Great Pyramid. The base is bigger than the pyramid in Egypt. So this was our Great Pyramid right here in our own backyard. Illinois, land of Lincoln. Okay. Now, let me give you a little bit of science. The Great Pyramid was the original prime meridian, which was the 0 degree, which is the center of our longitude, which represents east-west coordinate systems before Europeans moved it to Greenwich, England. So this globe map right now shows you that the vertical line that separates east and west is now centered in Greenwich. It wasn't always right there. It was actually 31 degrees and 8 minutes to the right, exactly at the Great Pyramid. The Great Pyramid is the center point for east-west coordinates. Okay. So technically, when you see a coordinate today in America, you are to add 31 degrees and 8 minutes to the current coordinate to get the ancient global coordinate. Okay. So let's do that. Let's go to a place in Newark, Ohio, known as the Great Circle. It sits 40 degrees north, 2 minutes and 27 seconds north of the equator. Now, this one is dealing with north, not east west. Times it, and you're going to get 2160, which is the precise time of an astrological age. They say at this place, they were observing the moon, which takes 18.6, roughly 19 years. If it's a full moon today, February the 12th, in 19 years, it'd be a full moon February the 12th, maybe the 11th, but it'd be same full moon, same day of the week. It takes 19 years for a phase of the moon to be in the exact same sign on the exact same day. Hence, the Holy Quran says, over it is 19, giving you mathematical laws about our reality. But this place says, okay, we know that. So now let us build a circle observatory and do our thug thizzle. Okay. Now, what a coincidence. The diameter of the moon is 2,160 miles wide. Diameter from side to side. Okay. Now let's go up the street around the corner and deal with longitude, which is going to be east-west coordinates. It's 113 degrees, 34 minutes, and 56 seconds east of the prime meridian. Well, when you times those numbers, 113 the degree times the minute times the second, you get exactly 216,000. This is equal to 100 ages, or what we would call 100 moons. You see that circle? You see the octagon? Building sacred geometry, correlating to astrological points right here in your own backyard. Let's go to Stonehenge. Stonehenge latitude northwest, when you times it 51 degrees, time 10 minutes, time 42.35 seconds, what do you get? 21,600, the equivalent to 10 moons. Notice they all circles. So what did you see? You saw 2,160, one age at the bottom, the moon's diameter. Then when we go up to Stonehenge, we saw what, 10 cycles. And then when you go to Newark, Ohio, around the corner, you get 100 cycles. It's all what we call base 10 mathematics. It's a 10th. So 216 is a 10th of 2160. 2160 is a 10th of 21,600, which is a 10th of 216,000. So you should be thinking you can take a fractal of a number and do your thing. It don't have to be the whole number. We can just take a fraction of the number. Now, a square is a 2D object. It has no depth or height. Its total degrees is 360. But when you take a cube has 6 faces. So each face is 360 degrees because if you look at the front of this pink cube, the front part, every angle is 90 degrees. Therefore, it's 360 on each face. So 6 times 360, which is a cube, which is 3D reality, right? 2D is not our reality. We live in 3D. We get 2,160 total degrees. But remember, the moon is exactly 2,160 miles in its diameter and is exerting gravity upon physicality, earth, water, things of that nature, us. So I say, remember fractal 26, which 26 is the number of Yahweh. If a square is just 5 times 5, which is a square. 5 is 5 squared. 5 times 5 is a square. Right? So we say 5 to the second power. In mathematical terms, that's called 5 squared. That's 25, but Yahweh is 26. But the cube we saw is got 3 what? 3 dimensions. So 3 times 3 times 3 is 27. So what is Yahweh then? Because Yahweh is 26. Yahweh sits in the middle of a square and a cube. So Yahweh is the invisible intelligence that creates what? 3D verticality, which is what? 2,160 degrees. How can something fit between 2 and 3 where there is no number between 2 and 3? From second dimension to third dimension. Second dimension is a square. Third dimension is a cube. There is no number that exists between 2 and 3, but somehow mathematically 26, Yahweh, is a frequency that exists in between 2 and 3D reality. So what do that mean? What it says in blue is what it means. It's an intelligence that creates 3D verticality. So I say here, Yahweh is a fourth dimensional moon time frequency. 5 times 5 is 25, we just saw. 3 cube is 27. But think about it. Look what I got in red. To figure out that square is 5 squared. To figure out the cube is 3 squared. So that means 4 is in the middle. Coincidence, the number of letters in Yahweh's name is 4. So when I did this, as I typed this to you on the right-hand side, how is 216 connected to 4? Well, if you take 216 and divide it by 4, it equals 54. And 54 is the chapter called the moon in the Quran. So the moon is very much related to 216 because it is a divisor of 216, or what we can call a multiple of 216, as far as this chapter layout in the Quran. The Quran is a cosmic mathematical code to get you to up your frequency. So, do the Jews not have a lunar calendar? Since the moon is connected with 216, since we saw a moon observatory at 216, since we saw the diameter of the moon being 2,160 years, do the Jews not have a moon calendar? They do. Do the Muslims not have a lunar calendar? They do. Interesting. Both of these have black cubes. The Jew has a black cube on his arm, Teflon, and on his forehead. But a cube we saw is 2,160 degrees. Think about this. Black holds heat, holds light. You're praying, you're doing your thing. You put this thing on your pineal gland, put it on your arm as well. What are you doing? You're mathematically taking a formula of invisible thought form and you're getting it to crystallize into 3D reality. Stop playing. Say what you want to say. Say what you want to say about people, but people be on some stuff. Okay. So even in the Bible, the 72 names of God, the Kabbalists note that there were 3 unique verses in Exodus 19 through 21. There were 72 letters per verse, but it's 3 verses. So 72 times 3 is 216. Right? That's what that is, literally. Okay. So I ain't gonna get too far in this. All right. But I'm just gonna give you the basis. That's there. So the 72 name of God, known as the Shem HaMephorash, comes out of 3 verses in the Bible. Each verse has 72 letters. Again, 72 times 3 is 216. Okay. All right. So I'm not going to even the word in the beginning was the word in Hebrew equals 216. In the beginning was the word. The word for Hebrew is dabir, which means 216 when you break it down. The 216th entry in the Bible concordance is light. We say or. Coincidence? Look at the irony of that. So here go millions of Muslims circling the Kaaba, which is draped in black silk. They circle what? 2,160-degree cube every year at Hajj. Stop playing. We can't be sitting on the sideline throwing stones and we ain't even doing nothing ourselves. They lined up with universal law. So what you see? We saw the geometry of these places. We saw light as a 216th Bible entry. We saw 2,160 degrees on the head of the black cube. We saw the word means 216. And then we saw the Muslims going around a cube that has 2,160 degrees. That's what you just saw. Coincidence? My birthday is 216 and I'm the one that's telling you this. So I don't want to sound like I be tooting my own horn, but I'm sent for this. Take it how you want to take it. We're in the age of Aquarius, okay? We know that, 2,160 years. All right? So this was said. This was said. We sent our messenger bearing the heavenly seal, so there would be no dispute that he is from us. It is we that adorn him with the highest light. The highest light is violet when you deal with the visible color spectrum. So you may understand our signs. You know what the Quran says? Even if we open out to them a gate of heaven and they were to continue ascending therein, they will only say, our eyes have been intoxicated. We have been bewitched by sorcery. It is we who have set out the zodiacal signs in the heavens and made them fair seeming to all beholders. That's in the Quran. It's in the Quran. Now, how is it that we go to this place, the Great Pyramid that I showed you outside of St. Louis? I got on my purple violet, so I'm on my violet frequency with Aquarius on me, and then the violet flame is beaming with me with the sun. Like seriously, I'm not on no ego shit. Like, stop playing with me. This is a cosmic mandate. Now, again, you have free will. So you can say, oh, it's sorcery. Oh, it's magic. I don't believe them. You got a right to do that. But for those of you who believe, you're going to get put to the test. Okay? So that's 216. Now, since it's Abe Lincoln's 216th birthday, okay? Since it's his 216th birthday, let's go ahead and go through some things and see. Some people like to say Mr. Lincoln was racist, right? Let me take this logo thing off real quick. Where is that at? Media. All right. Some people like to say Mr. Lincoln is racist. Start looking at the company of people, and that'll tell you who the birds of a feather flock together, right? That's what we say. All right. In business, they say, I can show you your net worth by the top 5 people you hang around, right? All right. In the middle is Mr. Salmon P. Chase, in which Chase Bank is named after. I'm going to leave you with a little bit of homework for those who, you find this to be interesting. Do the homework yourself if you haven't seen my presentations on this, right? Just don't believe me. Go search for yourself, all right? Salmon P. Chase is named, Chase Bank is named after Salmon P. Chase. Salmon P. Chase is an abolitionist attorney from Ohio who represented a woman. One of his most famous cases, probably the slave woman or the mulatto woman, Matilda. When she got to Ohio, she said she was free and tried to dispute with her slave master since she was on free soil, which, by the way, there was a party that was created to try to free slaves called the Free Soil Party before the Republican Party was created. Salmon P. Chase is one of the founding members of the Free Soil Party. Look into it. Okay. So he's an abolitionist attorney who would then become governor of the great state of Ohio. Abraham Lincoln will tap him to become his Secretary of the Treasury. But Salmon know law. He don't know money. And when the racist Roger Otani died, who said Dred Scott and black folks couldn't be citizens, Abraham Lincoln put Salmon P. Chase, the abolitionist attorney, as the nomination, and which was confirmed, and he became the president judge, the chief justice of the Supreme Court of the United States of America, representing black folks. That was his history, Salmon P. Chase. I like to say, what a coincidence that Chase Bank is the biggest bank, which makes them the most successful bank, because its name is rooted into the spirit of us. Okay? So you got to look at the spirit world when you're looking at these things. On the left-hand side, we see Mr. George Boutwell, the first director of the IRS, which the IRS was created to raise money to help finance the Civil War so the slaves could get free. Mr. George Boutwell, look him up, see if he was an abolitionist. He was an abolitionist. Lincoln is picking abolitionists, people that is on your side. In fact, he says it is his opinion, so blacks wouldn't be fighting whites and whites fighting blacks for job opportunities up north, that South Carolina and Florida should be our states. We should actually hold the IRS to this to a degree. But the point is, we run around here thinking the IRS is the enemy, and the IRS was really created in the spirit of raising revenue to help get our ancestors free. We don't know that part of history. And if you ever read up on money and start getting your wealth game on, the book to read will be Tax-Free Wealth by Tom Wheelwright, with a W, R-I-G-H-T, who is or was at one point in time, I don't know if he still is, the head tax guy for Robert Kiyosaki, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. And I forget the exact number, I'm a paraphrase, but he said, if the IRS code is 1,000 pages, then 700 pages of the IRS code is showing you how to keep your money and how the government incentivizes you, because the job is to support business creators, because the government ain't in business of creating money. That's for entrepreneurs to do. That's what capitalism is all about. You don't watch government-sponsored TV shows. No. NBC, CBS, Stars, 50 Cent, everybody, Tubi, YouTube, you have free creative control over content. Okay? So this is not a government communist society. So it's based upon the Jeff Bezos, the Amazons, all the way down to the mom and pop soul food shop on Peachtree. All right? So the government says, well, if you invest your money by opening up a business, or invest your money in oil, because that's very important for the economy, fuel, technology, AI, real estate as a landlord, because you're providing houses, we will incentivize you and not tax your money to a degree, if at all. So when you see that Jeff Bezos didn't pay no taxes, Donald Trump didn't pay no taxes, he's a landlord. Okay? So the book, the IRS code, is coded for the money getters. Stop being, can I say it? Can I say it, y'all? Can I say it? Do I have permission to say one cuss word? Can I say this one? Can I say one cuss word? And I'm really talking to men when I say this. Stop being a bitch ass nigga. Ooh, that felt good. Stop being a bitch ass nigga and learn how to play the game in the spirit of victory, because it's always been stacked for us to win. At the advent of the people coming and say, I don't like what y'all doing to them black folks. We're going to smash y'all. We're going to smash y'all. And IRS think about it. People are slaves. So who was paying taxes then? If you want to create the IRS, who paying taxes? You a slave. Are you paying taxes? You ain't paying no taxes. You weren't even a citizen. So you ain't even paying no taxes. So it was created to tax the citizen, okay? And eventually your slave master. And by the way, maybe it'll come up, but I'll say it now. Why don't black men ever talk about how our ancestors came up north, the Civil War jumped off, Frederick Douglass and others petitioned, let black folks in the army. Let us get a piece of this action. Come back down there and kill slave master. And they said, you know what? Cool. United States Colored Troops was formed. Facts. So the whole movie Glory is about what? The 54th Regiment of Massachusetts. Salute to Massachusetts, let the colors in. Okay? But one of your first is Kansas, the 1st Infantry. Kansas was really first. All right? So you got guns, march back down south and got a chance to shoot at slave masters and those who are fighting on behalf of the Confederacy to have slaves. Why don't we glorify that? How is it that our mind is fixated on white supremacy and we never give no props to being able, and you did, go back down south and shoot guns at the white man who wanted to create a new nation, a separate nation called the Confederate States of America, where slavery will be in effect? We don't ever talk about that. Stop being the bitch ass nigga. Can I say that? All right. All right. See, they gonna get mad at me. I don't care. All right. So I ain't gonna even put this here, man, because I promise you, man, the most honorable Elijah Muhammad, man, he's like, listen, man, if you find one word I say wrong, incorrect, man, I'll give you $10,000. Chump. All right. So here's a slight problem that black folks have. Okay. And I'm gonna tell you, I swear, I promise you this is the truth, right? Now, I think she should change the word syndrome to disorder. This ain't no syndrome, is like a symptom. Like, but no. We got a disorder. You know what I'm saying? Without a shadow of a doubt. But dig this though. There's something called explicit memories. And these memories are based upon facts and experiences. Now it's processed by the hippocampus. Okay. So verbal information is stored in the left hippocampus. Visual designs are stored in the right hippocampus. Okay. Now, an example of this would be remembering who the first president is. Now, this is vitally important, ladies and gentlemen, because you can have facts. This is about remembering actual facts. Okay. All right. Now, remember, it says when you see imagery, the right hippocampus is recording this. Okay. All right. Which is this. Okay. All right. Now let's look at this study. This study from the University of Massachusetts, okay, says that declarative memories, cortisol reactivity, which is a stress chemical, and psychological symptoms in chronically abused girls and just women, right? Now dig this. It says considerable amount of evidence derived from studies on animals and adults show that the exposure to trauma is associated with damages to the hippocampal neurons. Remember, they said memory is stored in the hippocampus, and to deficits in declarative memory due to changes in circulation of cortisol. So you're saying that stress, cortisol, is creating some type of deficit in our memory that's based upon facts. There are changes taking place when traumatic events continue in time. Wait. Do y'all understand that? Hold on. When traumatic events continue in time, we can say right now, Rodney King, the hippocampus is being damaged. The event is over. Whatever you saw from the past, but if it continues, if something else continues, the brain still processing this and it starts to damage the hippocampus, right? So As we continue, it says specifically continue activation of a glucocorticoid receptors exerting an inhibitory negative feedback mechanism. Negative feedback means basically stress chemicals is coming back up to the brain and circulating through the body and keep on going back. All right. It's not being flushed out, basically. Right. It's coming the opposite way. And maybe we could talk about that in a minute. All right. So a negative feedback mechanism over the hippocampus, the hypothalamus, which is the chemical maker of the brain, and a pituitary gland. The pituitary gland, they say, is the master gland because it carries out the chemical instructions from the hypothalamus. Okay. In order to modulate subsequent hormone release and prevent prolonged release of cortisol, there are probably permanent changes. So hippocampus is memory, hypothalamus is master chemical maker, pituitary gland is chemical deliverer. He's the bartender. Okay. So when under stress, these three things are having a negative feedback loop. Okay. So when you see things like this, Rodney King, Eric Gardner, that starts to damage your hippocampus. And that starts to damage actual facts. So much so, you might not even remember who the first president of the United States was. So much so, we say Abraham Lincoln freed the slaves, and you say, no, he didn't. It was a trick, brother. They wanted you to come up north and work. They never cared about you, brother, because your hippocampus is damaged because you keep sucking on white supremacy titty nipple like a bitch. Sorry. Yeah, I'm sorry. But for real though, straight up, man, sucking on a white man, white supremacy nipple, man, get out of here. That's right, you brain damaged, homie. Get out of here. Nobody superior than you. You God, so you say. That's what you be telling us. Salute to the God. All right. So my man Abe Lincoln, he gets, we know what happened to him. Little maggot, John Wilkes Booth violated, man. But everything must take place the way it must take place. All right. Now, I take this personal though, because you chilling with your wife, good time. Everything is off limits right now. Catch me slipping later when me and her depart, but you gonna shoot me in the head in front of her. Oh man, boy, I tell you, Confederates didn't like that, boy. They ain't like him. And another thing, if Abraham Lincoln was on the side of white supremacy, then why a white supremacist who absolutely wanted slaves, John Wilkes Booth, is a Confederate sympathizer? John Wilkes Booth was present at hanging your boy, John Brown. Yeah, and I say it all the time. The problem with black folks is this: we want all white men to be John Brown on a suicide mission to crash out because John Brown was on a suicide mission. Bro, you think you and just a handful of people are going to go and take over a military outpost, right, in West Virginia? You think y'all about to do that? You think so? It's a good chance y'all gonna die. So if you ain't crash out on a dummy mission with no strategy, black folks can't even see and recognize the truth of other things that's instrumental to revolution, such as economics, raising money, such as laws being changed, such as removing certain people out of office, such as putting certain people in office. You don't even recognize that because I ain't gonna say it again. I'm gonna be too short today, man. What's my favorite word? But I ain't gonna even do it. All right. I ain't gonna even do it. All right. Because we just simps. I'm gonna start saying that. So you ain't gonna be no more bees today, black man. You're gonna be a simp. All right. Yeah. So anyway, well, my son won't. But yeah. Underground Railroad. You know what I'm saying? I come from the place where the slaves ran and got free. So excuse me in my approach if I feel the way I feel, because this was a place of freedom, right? So this we ain't had no yes, massa. Oh, yes, massa. No. That wasn't the law of the land. In fact, it was already laid out Again, in the Northwest Ordinance of 1787, the very, 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 very last point, section 6, if I'm not mistaken, says there will be no slavery in this new territory. And guess what? This 1787, Ohio don't become a state until like 1803. So they saying when we do expand in this new area called Ohio, Illinois, Indiana, things of that nature, guess what? It ain't gonna be no slaves allowed up in here, homie. We dead in that shit. Okay. So I always say that I mean this. I don't understand how a black man could be so passionate about white supremacy and the diaspora of the people and power to the people and not give us who was who at the Civil War. How do you not study the Civil War? That's an impossibility. Now, listen, you could obviously don't study the Civil War, but don't make no false commentary about the Civil War. That like do your thing. You don't have to study the Civil War to care about black people to build what you're gonna build. But when you start giving false narratives, that's dangerous. So you start saying that sucker stuff like, oh, Abraham Lincoln didn't care about black people. You lying. You flat out lying. And then like you got to really ask yourself, what is that about? Like, I hope it's just you blinded by ego. Because anything else, it starts to get devious if you know it and you're not saying it. And maybe you don't know it because you haven't studied it. So you just blinded by ego to say some shit that's appeasing, but that ain't really cool because it's a lie. And then two, like, why are you subjecting the audience into a false, a flat out lie of believing that the government didn't intervene on our behalf? Why are you like that? That's dangerous. Like, what do you have to gain from that? Oh, okay. But see, now it makes me wonder when people keep pushing this white supremacy narrative that keeps them in their position of so-called, and I'm gonna say so-called scholarship, because true scholarship can absolutely go to the historical facts on the record and be able to point out who was who. There's hundreds of thousands of dead people in graves all across this country. Gettysburg, Vicksburg, Antietam, Shippensburg, Chattanooga, all across this country that died either to uphold slavery or to get the niggas out of slavery. And we can't even go and pick out and say, all right, here go 5 people that was on our side, homie. Period. Whether they was in the war or not, here go 5 white folks that was solid, that was on your side. You can't do that. And thank you, fifth, you're creating more cognitive dissonance in the audience. And this is why it's important to not start, if we can, not start with the conspiracy nipple. A lot of us came up on that first. That was the kindergarten stage. That, oh, white supremacy, the system is rigged, woo, 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 the elite, woo, 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 all that. And when you do that and you do not provide a solution, you just put the people in mental slavery. We know it's true because dig it. Me and Jew went on a radio show. We shared the story often. Blog Talk Radio. I meant to tell you they finally closed their doors last month. Blog Talk Radio. Brother had a show. Man, we went on that show 3 times in a row. They took the second show down. It was so hot. Right? And at the very end, man, dude was like, man, I don't appreciate how y'all came over here on this show, man. Like, yeah, like, I mean, y'all arrogant, right? Like, he was salty. One of the whole dude was salty with us. You know what I'm saying? And because it was him and his dad's show. And so his dad, you know, me and his dad knew each other, you know, from some homeschool stuff. And his dad was in Vietnam. He was a hypnotherapist, one of the medical people, you know what I'm saying? He used to hypnotize people, you know what I'm saying, when they get their legs blown off, so just so they can stay alive long enough to get the treatment and stuff. So the power on the mind is powerful. And we was over there doing what we do, and the son wasn't with it. Do you know, I swear to right hand of law, the very next show that this dude did when we got off that platform for 3 weeks in a row, he told his audience, to imagine being on a slave ship for 45 days. Now, we done came over here and we done blew the roof off this whole concept. He loved his slave master so much that he told his audience, now imagine being on a slave ship for 45 days. See, this is why I'm always baffled, because these little silly peon brains would look like, brother, you ain't doing that. I was on Brother Rich show not too long ago. Somebody said, brother, you ain't doing nothing but bigging up Europeans. He was a Moorish brother, you know, last name Bay. He was okay. All right, bro. I see what school you from. I've been in that school too. But listen, are you telling me you so self-righteous in your Islam that you can't even admit the fact that white folks got you up out that situation, man? That's what I'm talking about, man. Get out of here, man. Get out of here. What do you mean? So see, they try to flip the narrative on me like I'm upholding white folks. And I'm saying, no, look at this picture right here that y'all see on the screen. The ones who was against you, let it be known, and they created a flag called the Confederate battle flag. And they were fighting against the United States of America, who got your people free, who we will see Harriet Tubman actually went on her, came on our side. See, that's my question is, if you were a slave at the time of the Civil War, what side you gonna join? We can end the discussion with that. So now, instead of imagine being on a slave boat, I got one better. Imagine the Civil War breaks out. Which side are you on? Because I'm rolling with Harriet. So are you going to stay down south with your slave master, sucker? Or, you know, the facts of the matter is, let's just be real. Come on, man. It wasn't no circle of Islam that you can go to, or you just want to exit out and you don't want to fight. I actually want some clapback, especially if I was a slave and I wasn't a freeman already, because you had freemen already. All right. Harriet Tubman's husband, her first husband, was a freeman, and he was a sucker. All right. Bona fide sucker. Because the story don't show Harriet and John being next to each other. And John was mopping these white boys and telling Harriet, run, baby, I'm going to shoot him. And they killed him, right? Nah, he said, you keep talking like that, I'm going to tell on you. That's what he did. That's what he did, okay? And he got a right to be a sucker. But let's just call it for what it is, all right? So if we're going to imagine and go back in time, what side you on? I know what side I'm on. I'm on the Union soldier side all day long, nigga. All day long, nigga. Harriet Tubman, call me a coon, call me whatever. I don't care. All right. It's just the facts of the matter. All right. So a division came. This is the apex of slavery, the Civil War. You got to deal with this. Okay. Got to deal with this. All right. All right. Again, Harriet Tubman was called what? And again, they don't never tell us this. They don't be like, yo, Harriet Tubman was a Union soldier. She was a Union spy. Yes, she was. Yes, she was. She was too. Why y'all never tell that story? I don't even get into this right here. I'm gonna leave this alone. I don't even, you know. But see, we start getting to this kind of foolishness. Lincoln was a racist. Oh yeah, yeah. And which I like to say, my paramount objective or object in this struggle is to save the Union. It's not either to save or destroy slavery. This is what y'all do. This is what y'all do. This is what you fake scholars do. Y'all take a clip of something and y'all see that and y'all be like, yo, this dude was a racist. You see that? Where did he say that at? And what's the full speech? I don't know. I just Googled Abraham Lincoln was a racist and then that popped up. But I don't know which speech it was. Fake scholarship. All right. How about this? Whenever I hear anyone arguing for slavery, I feel a strong impulse to see it tried on him personally. Wait a minute, bro. Wait a minute. Hold on. You said your paramount objective in the Union ain't got nothing to do with slavery. But then when we start going into your speeches prior to you becoming president, you talking about you want to see the slave master be enslaved? Come on, we can read. Ain't that what they say? He said, I feel a strong impulse to see it tried on him. You just said you want to see the slave master be a slave. Since you like slavery so much, well, won't you be a slave? But y'all don't talk about that with Lincoln. Man, I'm getting a tattoo. I'm gonna get the courage and get me a tattoo. I'm getting the Union soldiers too. I'm is. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm is. All right. I'm gonna come back to this, I think. Yeah, this gonna come back up. This gonna come back. So we're gonna take our time and have a nice little powwow today. I have no purpose to introduce political and social equality between the white and black races. There is a physical difference between the two. He's not lying. There is a physical difference. Black and white, which, in my judgment, will probably forever forbid them living together upon the footing and perfect equality. From my judgment, this is not even the Civil War, ladies and gentlemen. This is before Lincoln come in power. This is flat out you a slave. So me looking at the political landscape from my judgment, I don't know if there ever be upon a footing that is perfect equality. Plus, if they get free, I would think these niggas probably gonna try to kill y'all. Y'all remember Nat Turner before Abraham Lincoln? Yeah, he killed y'all. Okay, and then y'all killed him. So I don't know. Y'all may not ever be on some good terms. Okay. And in as much as it becomes necessary that there must be a difference, I am favor of the race which I belong having a superior position. Who backed it? My dear brother, the minister did. He did. As Abraham Lincoln said, if there is to be a superior position, he would rather that superior position be assigned to the white race. That superior position must be protected by those who believe in white supremacy, and they will do anything in their power to make sure that that position will always be throughout the generations. So even our dear brother, Minister Farrakhan, took the bait. Listen, let me tell you something, Fruit. Let me tell you something. Because I'm Muhammad's Smas right along with you. And trust me when I tell you, when it comes to, and I ain't talking about that little memorization of lessons, because that ain't shit. Because you don't even know how to apply what's in there. Nobody is above making an honest error. Nobody. And I'm going to leave it at that. Leave it at that. Nobody is above that. All right. Truth is truth. All right. So, Mr. Lincoln said in the quote, I think the authors of the notable instrument of the Declaration of Independence is intended to include all men. Wait a minute. But you just said earlier you're of the position that the white man should be in the superior position. But then you say the Declaration of Independence is including all men. Make it make sense to me. Oh, we gotta put on our thinking hat, or put on your dunce cap if you can't figure it out. You're saying two totally diametrically opposing things here. The white man is superior, and you're in favor of being in that position. The Declaration of Independence is included for all men. What? Bro, you can't have it both ways. Which one is it? Which one is it, bro? Oh, we're gonna figure it out. 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 And he just said that again, as far as, oh no, I am not nor ever been in favor of bringing about in any way the social and political equality of the white and black races. That I am not, nor have ever been in favor of making voters or jurors of Negroes, nor of qualifying them to hold office, nor to intermarry with white people. And I will say, in addition to this, that there is a physical difference between the white and black races from living together on terms of social and political equality. And then that's the rest of what we just read, right? He's in favor of the white man being superior. Now, some of you that see it right now can't even digest this. Oh my God, Abraham Lincoln, how could you say that? If you're a woman, you excuse. I told you that this is art of war talk. This is what men need to be talking about. But nah, we want to be on the 48 laws of power. Put that shit down. Telling you if you don't have enemies, go create enemies on purpose. Stop it. Okay. But then you turn around and say in the emancipation, I do order and declare that all persons held as slaves within said designated states and parts of states are and henceforward shall be free. But then you said earlier, though, bro, you never been in favor of bringing about social and political equality for us. Okay. But then you turn around and do this. So let's get into some things because it's clear Mr. Abraham Lincoln is two-faced. Come on, he can wear it. You know what he said about that? Because people was calling him two-faced. This is why he gave this quote. I couldn't be two-faced. If I had two faces, I wouldn't wear this one. Ooh, dropping bars. Dropping bars. Okay. So let's go to point one in Horace Greeley letter. I give you the source of where some of this stuff comes from, since my paramount object is this struggle is to save the Union. In the struggle is to save the Union, and it's not either to save or destroy slavery. Since you want to take that, that was called a letter to Horace Greeley. Okay, I'll do a little bit of scholarship for you. Well, let's blow it up and let's read it because we're going to see something, ladies and gentlemen. We start in the blue highlight, exactly where it says, my paramount objective, our object in this struggle is to save the Union, and it's neither to save nor destroy slavery. Read the next sentence. If I could save the Union without freeing any slave, I would do it. Some people take that, like, see, I told you Abraham Lincoln didn't like you niggas. But why don't y'all read the very next sentence in green? And if I could save it by freeing all the slaves, I will do it. Now, I just got a question. How is it that you run with the first part, but we never ever see nobody just take the last part and even just champion that and say, you know what, I ain't gonna even show this part because niggas is too emotional and they can't even deal with him possibly saying that. So let me just take this part. One, don't nobody care. We don't care. Man, listen, man. I have not yet known the Black popular culture to do and host a mass caravan and say, yo, as the culture, we about to ride up to Springfield, Illinois and put flowers on this man's grave as a grandiose thank you. We appreciate you. We the most ungrateful. Boy, I swear we worse than the children of Israel. We are. Boy, you want to identify again with 400 years of slave with that story so bad. I promise you that goddamn Hebrew Israelites just may be on something. Niggas is Israelites. Just a non-believing, disobedient, ungrateful specimen. Right? But again, my point to this, how is it that the detractors of Abraham Lincoln always omit and leave out the very next part where he said, listen, if I can save the Union by freeing all the slaves, yo, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna do that. You don't see that. So now at best in basic mathematics, you got a negative. Abraham Lincoln said it's all about the Union. But then you got a positive. If I can free the slaves and say the Union, I'm gonna do that. A negative and a positive is called zero. We just zeroed out the score. So that cannot stand without weighing the other part of what was said. Okay. So in basic mathematics, ladies and gentlemen, that's called a cancellation. Okay. Now, in this proclamation, that on the first day of January, ooh, that's interesting, in the year of our Lord 1863, all persons held as slaves within any state or designated part of a state, people where should there be in rebellion against the United States shall be then, in my favorite part, this forward in what free? Forever, ever. Forever, ever. Forever free. Forever, ever. See, what y'all don't know, and I keep telling y'all, Mr. Lincoln was a Rosicrucian. He was a mystic that was studying Egyptian sciences, running with a brother by the name of Pascal Beverly Randolph. Look it up. That's a real mystic. He part of the Great Three. I'm telling you. I showed it on one of the videos. I think it was on Brother Rich Show. I showed him. He was a part of that. Go to soul.org. type in the Rosicrucians. You'll see. All right. So you forever, ever. He casting spells for you into eternity. Let me say that again. He didn't say you was free today. He said forever free. So if we lean into that, that's eternity. You free for eternity. But in the so-called black intelligence circle, Trump becomes president, you think we about to go back to shackles. I've heard a speaker say before, don't say nothing to me when we own slave boats going back to Africa. I thought you wanted to go back to Africa. I thought Africa was the motherland. But why are they kicking you out? Are they going to enslave you in Africa? Like, I'm kind of lost. But anyway, I digress. Don't say nothing to me when we going to be on slave boats going back to Africa. What? The man who dealt the last blow to slavery said you going to be forever free. Better figure out what that means and how to uphold that. All right. Now dig this. Lincoln's first draft of the Emancipation Proclamation. What I got highlighted right there. Can I make that go away? Because my thing I can't see right there. President Lincoln read the first draft to his cabinet on July 22nd, 1862. Remind you, it goes in effect in January 1st, 1863. That previous July, he's working on it. He's working on it. Okay. So he's showing this to his inside circle in July. So in July, he's working on it. Okay. In August is the letter to Horace Greeley saying, hey, everything I do is for the Union. And if I can say the Union without freeing the slave, that's what I'm going to do. But if I can say the Union by freeing all the slaves, that's what I'm going to do. That came in August in the timeline. Y'all see something just with that in itself? Wait a minute. Pay attention, y'all. Pay attention to this. Pay attention to this. Pay attention to this. You already had the draft for the Emancipation Proclamation to free the slaves. Horace Greeley is like, yo, what's up, man? What's up with you and the slaves? What's your intent? And he like, listen, man, everything I'm doing for the Union. I ain't doing this for no slavery. I'm doing this for the Union. But he's sitting on the draft to free the slaves. Nigga, it's called the Art of War. That's what it's called. It's called the Art of War. He's sitting on the draft already documented. Homie, what is you talking about? Huh? Got you. All right. And so then it would be September the 22nd, fall equinox, celestial day. He published the Emancipation Proclamation the very next month. After he told dude, I don't do this for the slaves. Huh? So even if he didn't write it in July, and what he said in August just contradicted himself when he published it in September. But the record shows he wrote it in July, 1 month prior to the conversation. And everything keep happening on the 22nd. Normally, that's when the zodiac sign changes. Hello. Stop playing, man. So let's go back 2 years, a year before Abraham Lincoln's election. He in Cincy. Shout out to Queen City. We believe that the spreading out in perpetuity of the institution of slavery impairs the general welfare. We believe, nay, scratch that. We know that that is the only thing that has ever threatened the perpetuity of the Union itself. All I do for the Union. Now, dig this. Hold on. We gotta make it make sense. Make it make sense to me. So if your argument is all I do for the Union, it ain't got nothing to do with slavery. 1 year prior to his election, he's giving a speech saying, listen, The thing that's fucking with the Union is slavery. So what's the paramount objective then? You think it's the Union? Or is it to get rid of slavery to perfect the Union? Because he only see one problem in order for the Union to exist. The Union is a code word, and it was so clever. It was so clever. Because see, again, it's art of war. White peace moved first on the chessboard, so they say. That's cool. Confederates struck first. The Battle of Fort Sumter. That started the Civil War. South Carolina shot at a United States merchant ship. Well, it was a merchant ship carrying United States goods called the Star of the West. The Star of the West is the name of the ship. So we go back to the stars with this somehow. Okay. South Carolina fired the first shot. Sneaky little bitch. That's what they did. So now Abe is like, oh, game on. What I do for the Union. This ain't about slavery. So now guess what? The people that's called Kentucky, it's called West Virginia, known as the border states that got slaves, but they don't join the Confederacy. They don't join and say, yeah, Mississippi, Georgia, Alabama, Florida, South Carolina, I'm joining y'all so we can have slaves in our own country. They like, man, we good, man. We ain't fighting with the Union, nor are we fighting. We just the government's gonna handle this how they handle it. So if Abraham Lincoln comes and say, yo, this about slavery, and these border states got slaves, what side are you kind of pushing them to do? You're gonna push them towards your enemy, jackass. You're gonna push them towards your enemy. So if I can cloak this up in the phrase of the Union and not create and make my enemy stronger, then that's what I'm gonna do. That's chess, not checkers. You got me? So the Union is a cloak, but Abe is already on the record telling you what the threat to the Union is. All right? Ain't rocket science, man. I was held back in second grade. If my little simple mind can figure this out, surely you can raise out of your emotion as a grown-ass man and figure this out. And I want all the Abraham Lincoln smoke there ever can exist on this planet. I do. Now let's go to point number 2. Because he said he was the superior. He's in favor of the white man being in the superior race. Oh, it's about to get juicy. It's about to get Sharita juicy in a minute. Where you at, Sharita? Throw the juicy juice. Put the juicy juice in the chat, Sharita, because it's about to get juicy. Oh, yeah. And for those y'all be drinking y'all kids juicy juice, go get it because it's about to get juicy. If you want to understand the mindset of Abraham Lincoln, it is your duty to study some aspects of the Lincoln-Douglas debate so you can get it out of the horse's mouth. Don't rely on what I said, what somebody else said, somebody said. Go see what the man said out his mouth because the debate is documented. Oh, boy. So let's read at the very bottom when it says good for Lincoln. Really, we can read the whole thing. For real. Let's start at the top. Let's take our time and have fun today. In a joint discussion between Mr. Lincoln and myself, so this is Douglas talking, his opponent. They running for, I think, senator in Illinois. In a joint discussion between Mr. Lincoln and myself at Charleston, I think on the 18th of last month, Mr. Lincoln, referring to the subject, used the following language. Now, he about to quote Lincoln. I will say then, that I am not nor never have been in favor of bringing about in any way the social and political equality of the white and black races. That I am not nor never have been in favor of making voters of the free Negroes or jurors or qualifying them to hold office or having them to marry with white people. I will say in addition that there is a physical difference between the white and black races, which I suppose will forever forbid the two races living together upon terms of social and political equality, and inasmuch as they cannot so live, that while they do remain together, there must be a position of superior and inferior, that I, as much as any other man, am in favor of the superior position being assigned to the white man. We saw my dear minister and brother, Minister Farrakhan, quote this. Yes, we saw it. So the crowd says, good for Mr. Lincoln. Now, watch what Mr. Douglas does. He says, fellow citizens, here you find men haranguing for Lincoln and saying that he did right, when in one part of the state he stood up for the Negro equality, and in another part for political effect, discarded the doctrine and declared that there always must be a superior and inferior race. Abolitionists up north are expected and required to vote for Lincoln because he goes for the equality of races, holding that by the Declaration of Independence, the white man and the Negro was created equal and endowed by divine law with that equality. And down south, he tells the old Whigs, the Kentuckians, the Virginians, the Tennesseans, that there is a physical difference in races, making one superior and the other inferior, and that he is in favor of maintaining the superiority of the white race over the Negro. Now, how can you reconcile those two positions, Mr. Lincoln? Ooh. So Douglas is like, Lincoln is pump faking the hell out of y'all. I'm going to call him out on his slick shit. He's up north appealing to abolitionists to get their vote and saying the black man is free. The Declaration of Independence is for him so he can get their vote. But then when he come down to Southern Illinois, aka Little Egypt, all right, when he come down here to Little Egypt, well, we a little bit, we a little racist down here. You know what I'm saying? He's telling us that the white man is superior. So his opponent don't believe him. Now, his opponent was there. Now, who am I to? Can I really believe you emotional niggas that won't even tell the truth about there was absolutely white people who had your back and you just refuse to name them and you refuse to admit it? Or should I believe the man who was his opponent who was there? I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen, this ain't rocket science. We got to believe the actual facts of the matter. All right. So he is calling Lincoln out like, nah, bro, I see what you're doing. You ain't slick. All right. So it's clear what he was doing. So now he accuses Lincoln of double dealing in the 6th debate. Okay. And so that whole phrase, can we dismiss that? That's gone. Throw that up out of here. Because his own opponent said he is trying to trick y'all. He is using an art of war strategy for political effect. That's exactly what Douglas said. He is using and saying this stuff for political effect. In other words, he's just trying to get y'all votes. He being slick and trying to get the slave master vote by saying the white man is superior. That's what Douglas is saying. Stop it. Yeah, y'all can't touch Abe with any size pole. All right. Again, that's why he said he can't be two-faced. All right. So moving on. Shout out to the spirit that hit these two at the time, Black Republicans. Right. Arguably, everybody say these is your number 1 and 2 MCs of all time. Let's go to debate number 3. Shout out to Black Republicans. All right. The album. You got to understand that within artistry, there be spiritual downloads. The artists, the poets, it's always been that way. All right. So this pre-president, and this is a letter to Joshua Speed. You know I dislike slavery, and you fully admit the abstract wrong of it. It's August 24th, 1855. The slave breeders and the slave traders are a small, odious, and detested class among you. And yet, he said detested class. And yet in politics, they dictate the course of all of you and are as completely your masters as you are the master of your own Negroes. Man, he just called Joshua Speed a biatch, is what he said. I'm sorry, I'm gonna have to let it go today. Man, he said, yo, they your masters too. They're completely your masters as they are the master of your own Negroes. So while we having this correspondence and you ain't standing up to be against slavery, y'all some bitches, y'all some suckers. They your masters too. I've always hated slavery. Whoa. I think as much as any abolitionist, July 10th, 1858, speech at Cairo. He always hated what? Huh? Come on. Did he say that? I thought Abraham Lincoln was a racist. I thought he didn't free the slaves, and he just did it for the Union. This is 2 years before he was even running for office, a president. He's on the record. I hate slavery. Give you another one. We believe that the spreading out perpetuity of institution. Oh, we read that already, right? So we read that one. The last one. I believe this government cannot endure. Ooh, this was a good one. This speech right here, House divided. I believe that this government cannot endure permanently half slave and half free. I do not expect the union to be dissolved. What? Stop. I do not expect the house to fall. What? Hold on. But I do expect it will cease to be divided. Now, hold on. Ladies and gentlemen, y'all got to pay attention to this. If the country is at a divide and there's an issue here, and you don't expect the house to fall, you don't expect us to continue to be divided, then that can only mean two things. It's going to be an all slave nation, or it's not going to be a slave nation. That's the only two things that you can come out of this. That's it. Okay? That's it. Okay? So now when homeboy gets inaugurated, now watch this. This is an inauguration speech, right? So he becomes the president. He explicitly said, I have no purpose, directly or indirectly, to interfere with the institution of slavery in the states where it exists. Ooh. I believe I have no lawful right to do so, and I have no inclination to do so. That's what he said. He said he don't believe he has the power to interfere with this thing. And most importantly, he said he don't even have the inclination to do it. That's what he said. March 4th, 1861. Then Abraham Lincoln, if you didn't have no inclination to do so, tell me how 1 year later you drafting and passing, or drafting and enacting and having Congress pass an Emancipation Proclamation saying the slaves will be free. You just told us, sir, you have no inclination to do so. And you're on the record before you even became popular talking about you hate slavery. White people, the slave masters should be slaves themselves to see how it feels. You detest this thing. Huh? Is it making sense now? Yeah, we see what side he was on. Stop lying on my man. So now let's go to this guy named Nathaniel Gordon. Nathaniel Gordon. Oh, let me see. I'm gonna get into Nathaniel Gordon. I ain't got Nathaniel, but I'll tell you. Nathaniel Gordon, if you look him up, Nathaniel Gordon violated the 1819, 1820 piracy laws passed by my OG, James Monroe. The United States government had the Navy had a specific squadron called African Squadron, 1819, 1820, look it up. They're patrolling the Atlantic Ocean and saying, we better not catch no freaking body, period. I don't care what country you're from. You better not have no African slaves on your boat transporting them anywhere. We gonna police the entire Atlantic Ocean, nigga. What side you on? Atlantic Ocean side, right? Like, we policing the whole Atlantic Ocean. So this gentleman, Nathaniel Gordon, he was still doing it. Nathaniel Gordon was hung by who? Abraham Lincoln was the president and did not give him a pardon. In fact, I hope I got it in here. Abraham Lincoln said, what you did to the children of Mother Africa, I cannot forgive. I can forgive anything, but I can't forget that. And he let that man get hung and died. Nathaniel Gordon, look into it. If I'm lying, I'm flying. All right? Seriously. So what y'all talking about? He let that man die. All right? So I got mystic chords of memory here. Again, this is Abraham concluding his speech, talking about the mystic chords of memory, stretching from every battlefield and patriot grave to every living heart and heartstone all over this brown land, will yet swell the chorus of the Union and when again touch. So he's telling you he knows that it's going to be a war. It's going to happen. He don't want it to happen, but he knows it's going to happen. But he says that, as surely they will be. So, okay, these heartstones, these graveyards is going to be touched. As surely they will be by the angels of our better nature. Oh, why are you throwing in mysticism and angelic terms, man? And and I say it again, when he's signing emancipations, he's doing this on equinox, which are celestial points. Why are you doing this? Oh, I keep forgetting. I keep telling y'all he was Rosicrucian. He do everything by the stars. Okay. So now he's interjecting mysticism in here. The Battle of Fort Sumter, the first strike, South Carolina. This is where it starts at in the Civil War. I got Mystic Chord here, so this presentation is old, so it'll come to me. But April 13th, April 13th, 1861. That pocket right there, April 13th pocket. We're gonna come to that. But again, just to show you a mystic chord of memory, I believe Abraham Lincoln was talking about this right here. Because remind you, Abraham Lincoln referenced the Declaration of Independence, right? Douglas called him out. Hey, he's quoting, he said, Black folks and Negroes are free because of the Declaration of Independence. Well, the Declaration of Independence was, we know, famously signed on July 4th, 1776. But 50 years later, in 1826, Thomas Jefferson died first. And then John Adams died that same day, later that day. And they were 564 miles apart from each other. And Adams and Jefferson's were opponents in government. And Adams thought that Thomas Jefferson outlived him, not knowing that Thomas Jefferson had already died. How can you sign the most famous document that we have in the United States, Declaration of Independence, on July 4th, be the creator of it, Thomas Jefferson, and then you die on July 4th? You better stop playing with God. There is a mystic chord of memory that is at work here, ladies and gentlemen, that comes through you and resides outside of you. Because if it comes through you, then it comes through me, and it comes through other people. So it's nothing wrong with giving your exaltation to an external God. Let me be clear. And there's nothing wrong with you honoring the God within. Let me be clear. Because I think sometimes we get to points where we feel like we have to abandon one for the other. This is as above, so below, so below. As above, as within, so without. Occupies all space, all dimensions. So this is a mystic chord of memory. You got to really ponder on this. This dude died. These two guys died on the same day and signed this document. July 4th weekend, 1863. Now let's almost go 100 years later, right? Like, yo, this is called the turning point of the Civil War. Grant wins Vicksburg, Mississippi. Rosecrans, you won Middle Tennessee, and John Meade won the Battle of Gettysburg. This is literally July 4th weekend. This is 1863. What's the math? Let's just paraphrase. Almost 100 years later from the Declaration of Independence. But that same weekend, that same pocket of space, this became the turning point of the Civil War across this country, where critical battles was won. If Lee would have won Gettysburg and they got as far north as Pennsylvania, we could have had some serious problems, and we'd still be slaves. Because the North, see, you got to remember, people can say, I'm not paying no tax. I'm not financing this war. Enough is enough. We had enough of this shit. Let them figure it out. Let the states do what the states do. The states already always had their autonomy to do what they do. Federal government get out of the state's businesses. So we couldn't let Lee beat us in Gettysburg. And so that fell, these three places fell on the same weekend in which the document was signed, in which you just saw two of the founders of the document died 50 years later in 1826. So the spirit of independence has been stamped in that weekend. And now, truthfully, it has now turned in our favor when it came to the Civil War on this weekend. So to say 4th of July is that bullshit. It got nothing to do with Jews, nothing. Them punchlines to play on your emotional threads. From Gettysburg to Vicksburg, the furthest points, we talking almost 1,100 miles apart on the same weekend. God knows no space and time. Everything happens in the stamp of in the same pocket of space at the blink of an eye. This is our pocket. Here we go. William McLean. right? Wholesale grocer from Virginia. His house near Manassas, Virginia, was involved in the first battle of Bull Run. So the first official battle was Bull Run. When they shot at the boat, remember that. When they shot at the boat, that was a sneak attack. That wasn't a battle. We didn't say, okay, all right, homie, everybody mount up. Look, we about to go ride. We fighting these dudes. They over here. Nah, y'all shot up a boat. That was a merchant boat. That wasn't no soldiers. Y'all, okay, all right, y'all did that? Cool, game on. Meet us at Manassas, aka Bull Run, and we gonna squabble right there. Well, when they did that squabble, they squabbled on dude's property right here. Okay. And then after the battle, he moved to Appomattox, Virginia, to escape the war, thinking that he would be safe. Instead, in 1865, Robert Lee surrendered to General Ulysses Grant in McLean's house in Appomattox 4 years later. Now, Google Maps says, hey, man, this is approximately almost 150 miles away, 3 hours drive time. This dude moves almost 150 miles away 4 years later. What a coincidence. They pick his property to surrender and end the Civil War. That's a mystic chord of memory. Okay. All right. When did that surrender take place? Do we get that surrender date? Well, that's April 9th. All right. So they say the war wasn't about slavery, brother. Secession was about slavery. So listen, if you go Google South Carolina, the secession speech, the reason South Carolina said we're leaving the United States of America, when they tried to form their own nation, they gave a speech. They did their own Declaration of Independence. It's called a secession speech. South Carolina said slave 18 times. Whether slave be flat out slave or slavery, slave as the root word is used in that document 18 times. Mississippi said it 7 times. Georgia said slave 35 times. So to hear anybody say the secession wasn't, because in the South, they're trying to recreate a whole narrative. I forget the name of it. That it wasn't about that. It was about states' rights. It wasn't about slavery. It's about state rights. The state right to do what? To have slaves. They're lying. Okay. It wasn't about state. You can say that because it's really a partial truth to that. Yeah, it was about states' right. Y'all state right to have slavery. You just don't want to put slavery at the forefront and you want to hide behind state rights. That's fine. You can do that. But in your secession speeches, y'all said slave a whole lot of times. And hey, it is what it is. Okay. All right. But I can see behind the smoke screen. All right. So, part 2, strategy. When we talking about war, we're talking about Mars. So the gentleman at the top right is Edwin Stanton, the Secretary of War. Abraham Lincoln called him my Mars. Once again, and I'm going to show you, hopefully I got that in here, giving reference to celestial bodies. My man Grant at the bottom, and my man at the bottom, William T. Sherman, bet your bottom dollar. Ain't no slaves again, so we pop a collar. That's who wrote 40 Acres and a Mule, aka the real name of it is called Special Field Order number 15. He never mentioned the mule, but it's cool. We can say 40 Acres and a Mule. He's a war general. Both Grant and Sherman are from Ohio. William T. Sherman is the one that's going to burn Atlanta down because this is William T. Sherman. This is Uncle Billy. That's what his name. And some call him Old Clump. Uncle Billy's strategy was this. War is nasty and cruel. And the crueler that you make it, the sooner it'll be over. When William T. Sherman got to Atlanta, like, You hear it now. If y'all watch that Kevin Hart Netflix thing, when he's like, he trying to throw a party for Samuel Jackson, all the hustlers coming into Atlanta and stuff. It's kind of going back in the 60, 70 flow, which was a dope series. I kind of wish it kept on. It was pretty good. In the introduction, they're talking about Atlanta, and it was like, yeah, Sherman came down here and burned it up. That's what they're talking about. William T. Sherman burned it up. And he was like, okay, y'all want to have slaves? I'll tell you what, I'm burning the whole city and I'm shooting the whole city up. It's called the shelling. So all these buildings, we shooting all this shit up and we burning. Since you want to have slaves and you want to lead the United States of America, I'm going to show you what's up. That's what you want to do. I'm going to make it cruel for you. It's wartime. So we got to go in. So Sherman told his opponent at the time was John Bell Hood. John Bell Hood was, the general for the Confederates in that territory. John Bell Hood had side note, Joe Johnston was commander for the Confederates, and he was getting his ass beat. So he got dismissed off his post. Got to just tell y'all that. I got to put that there, okay? Because we won that. And so he got off his post. John Joseph Johnston got off his post. General Hood came in, and this is why Fort Hood where's that? In the Carolinas military base, that's named after him. All right. So John Bell Hood came in, and so when Sherman got there, Sherman sent a telegram. These dudes was in communication with each other. They sent a telegram, and he was like, hey, get the women. This is Sherman. Get the women and the children up out of here. Because on such and such day, I'm going to act a fool, and I'm shooting everything up. Get them up out of here. This is documented. Get the women and children. So that's why I say when homeboy killed Abe Lincoln in front of his wife, like that go against the protocol, but I get it, ain't no honor amongst thieves. You know what I'm saying? But in war, the way we was rocking, you know what I'm saying? We like get the women up out of here because tomorrow we shooting up and burning up everything. All right. Facts. William T. Sherman. All right. All right. So now let's look at some yearly power moves. 1862 was the Homestead Act. 1863 was the Emancipation Proclamation. 1864 was the 13th Amendment, which has something to do with April the 8th. The reason I got Mystic Chord there is because General Lee was surrendered the next year on April the 9th. Look, pay attention to that. If the 13th Amendment was drafted or passed on April the 8th of 1864, go look up when General Lee surrendered. It was 1865 or April the 9th. That's a fact. And in 1865, we had the Freedmen's Bureau. So each year, we're making progress. I don't know if I have in here, but in the Homestead Act, you absolutely were given land if you had the intention on filing the declaration of becoming a citizen. Well, who are you talking to? The only people that could become a citizen at that with the intention on becoming a citizen, you got to be talking to the slaves because the white people are already citizens. Right? Yes, in Texas, Fort Hood. Thank you. Right? And so Fort Bragg is in North Carolina, and Fort Bragg is named after Braxton Bragg. Braxton Bragg was a Confederate general who got his ass beat too. See, listen. Y'all gotta look at the irony of this. You can have two perceptions of why is the United States military naming their bases after Confederate generals that they beat and or killed. Now, you can say that it's white supremacy, or what the streets say in Chicago, smoking on a Tuka pack. I killed you. I defeated you. And I'm going to name this spot after you. Man, that's a little disrespectful. I don't take that as white supremacy. You killed this person. And then the fighting force, your base that represents your ideology that killed this person you was in opposition with, you name it after them? That's like, standing on my grave being in opposition to what the person was. That's disrespect. That ain't white supremacy. That's a whole nother level, right? So we can say call it respect and homage because at one point in time, these dudes fought in the American-Mexican War, or the Mexican-American War, as they call it, prior to the Civil War. A lot of them fought, they was buddies, you know what I'm saying? For real, for real. All right. But anyway, so we can actually apply for land in the Homestead Act, but yet we don't hear black people talking about that. Truth be told, this is absolutely a gateway into a conversation that we can have with any administration on grounds of federal lands, reparations, things of that nature, is the 1862 Homestead Act, to continue in the spirit of Lincoln, who Lincoln got his playbook from Thomas Jefferson, the Declaration of Independence, all men are created equal. So we got to know how to put the pieces of the puzzles together. So this is where I like to come and really let me talk to, you know, my brothers like Ali Muhammad, that's very good at law, old school, Cheyenne, you know what I'm saying? The one that's very famous for the Moors in court, people that are really great at understanding jurisprudence and law and got the patience for that shit and know how to articulate it. You know what I'm saying? Or we can go to Chat GPT, right? But anyway, we got to be able to find our ends and then know how to continue to ride the wave. You're not, in my opinion, and we even shouldn't. I don't even think we need to raise a different flag. What you need to raise a different flag for when this is the flag that put in the work to get us free? Only thing you got to do is just cloak yourself in this flag, and now you looking so American that they got to give it to you because you American, baby. You ain't got to create no confusion and none of that. And we don't necessarily need, we don't need one state per se, because when we say give us Florida, like the first IRS abolitionist director, George Boutwell, said, niggas are gonna say it's too hot in Florida, and niggas is crazy in Florida. Then if we say, well, let's take Chicago, then you're gonna say Chicago's too cold. And if we say take Detroit, then you're gonna be like, no, it's too cold and it's too ran down. No, we're not doing. We're gonna always find a reason to complain about something. So what you do is you create the 51st district, which is a membership in a sense that goes all throughout major cities or designated areas, don't matter if major or not, but designated areas where you got Chinatown, Koreantown in your big cities. Okay, you got the 51st district. So then what happens of members of the 51st district? Not only do you have a district, right, but citizens of the district, and you don't have to live in a district to be a citizen of the district, because Chinatown people don't live in Chinatown, right? But when you are a member or citizen of the district, then perhaps certain things apply to you, such as maybe you don't pay a federal income tax. Trump is trying to get rid of an income tax and do an external revenue tax. Leave Americans alone. Tax everybody else that's coming in getting bread, right? Leave us alone, right? So you got to see the play. You see what I'm saying? So anyway, that will solve the issue of locality, because the only thing we got to do is just have districts. Issue solved. We don't want to go back to Oklahoma because there's too many tornadoes. We're going to always find a reason to complain about something, right? All right. What is this? Oh, this is the Homestead Act. And I ain't gonna go through it, but again, you can look it up for yourself. The 1862 Homestead Act absolutely says that if you have the intention on becoming a slave, becoming a citizen, as required by the naturalization laws. So that's where it is. So where it says a citizen of the United States, or who shall have filed his declaration of intention to become such. Again, the only person that can file a declaration to be of intention to become a citizen absolutely is talking about this, talking about the slaves. And I gotta find it. Oh, look at that. In the United States, on the left-hand side where it say United States, and who has never borne arms against the United States government. Right? It says that, right? Or given aid and comfort to its enemies. So you know what that means? That means, Mr. Confederate, since you a Confederate and you bore arms against the United States government, you can't get this federal land. Wait a minute, Abraham Lincoln. I thought you was a racist. Why are you saying that the racist slave master who is at war with you cannot have no federal land? What's up with that, Mr. Racist? So he's disbarring the Confederates from owning land. You see our entry point? You got to continue on the legacy of truth. Okay? Got to continue on the legacy of truth, man. All right. All right. So we got the proclamation. We did that before. 13th Amendment was passed. We see that neither slavery nor involuntary servitude set as punishment for a crime. Now, black people be whining, and I like how the 13th Amendment, I forget the sister name that produced it, was produced, but I don't like the narrative in it. Because the narrative is you still a slave when you go to prison, but that apply to white people too. White people are in prison making 25 cents an hour too. So that's just not, yeah, see, they be pitching it, and Kanye, bless his heart, he getting there. You know what I'm saying? They be pitching it like the 13th Amendment is a loophole in a trick that really keep you in slavery. Nigga, don't commit a crime and you won't have to worry about that. Like, what kind of master trick says, hey, here's the statute and laws, be law-abiding citizens, and as long as you don't break this, you will be free. But yet they just sitting there waiting for you to break it. Nah, nigga, don't break it. You know what you know, thou shalt not kill, thou shalt not sell crack to crack babies, crack moms who's pregnant and create crack babies. You know you shouldn't be stealing, you know you shouldn't be robbing, you know you shouldn't drive drunk because you can kill people, which has happened. You know you shouldn't rape, you know you shouldn't do a lot of things that are crime. So we can go to the most monstrous nigga and we say, hey bro, we just want to ask you a question. Do you want to do what you do? And he gonna say, nah, nigga, I don't want to do this, but I gotta do this because I gotta eat, son. That's what they gonna say. So they're under the impression that they got to, but nobody's making them do it. So what trick is it of the man to say, hey man, just don't break these things? And the things that they don't want you to break happen to be things that are really just morally good. You shouldn't steal, you shouldn't kill, you shouldn't do these things. It's just morally good if we're going to be honest about it. So what kind of plan is that? But again, what kind of plan is it when, well, wait a minute. White people in the penitentiaries making 25 cents an hour too, just like the nigga. So now he's enslaving his own people. Oh, so that's the master plan, to enslave his own people? Huh? Because by population count, more white people in prison than black folks. But if we want to do it by percentage of population, then we can say, well, our percentage in ratio to our population is higher, but the truth of the matter is they still got more numbers in prison and they're subject to the same thing. So he wants to enslave his own people too. Make it make sense to me. That's why I be saying stop being a bitch, because these arguments is stupid and weak. And you passing that information on to the next generations. Stop that shit. All right. The Freedmen's Bureau was established. I don't think I'm gonna get into this. Oh, but a lot of people don't know. Y'all heard about the Freedmen's Bureau, but how about we had our own trust company, our own bank? Yeah, we had our own bank, the National Freedmen's Savings and Trust Company. All right. You can see it here, pieces of a book, the Freedmen's Savings Bank Trust Company, also known as the Freedmen's Bank. Look at the bottom, towards the bottom, where it says South Carolina Freedmen's Savings Bank. In fall 1864, General Benjamin Butler established a bank in Norfolk. In mid 1865, General Nathaniel Banks established a free labor bank in New Orleans. The latter bank served black soldiers. Huh? We had banks. You had white people coming that was soldiers shooting, catching bullets. Some of them died. Just shout out to General Bird Eye McPherson from Ohio. Bird Eye McPherson died when he was with Sherman down in Atlanta. The Confederate troops, you couldn't shoot a general. In war, you couldn't shoot a general. You can shoot the soldiers, but you can't shoot the general. You can capture the general, but you can't shoot the general. See, once you capture them, it's dead. We got this. We won this battle. Get up out of here. Are we going to hold you as a prisoner of war? One of the two, but we ain't going to kill you. It was a little bit of an honor that was there. You had generals that you just saw, Nathaniel Banks and General Butler, they created banks for black folks. So when you have somebody like the historically black, what is HCBU, Historical College Black University, if I'm saying that correct, HBCU, Historically Black College University, right? Howard is named after Oliver Howard, the Big O. The Big O was a war general that was helping your ancestors get free fighting on the Union. So when we get a black school and we name it after him, or if some of them found one, we walk around here and think it's bad. Oh, we naming our black colleges after this white man. That white man put in work and took bullets and saw people who he cared for, friends, die to get you free. We can't honor that and have a black college in his name. Fuck out of here, pussy. That's why I'm gonna start talking to you like I'm back on the East Coast, right? Fuck out of here. What you talking about? You can't honor. So that's what I'm saying. You so pro-black in your shit that you can't even erect a building for people who was establishing banks and taking bullets and dying for you. And it wasn't even you. It wasn't even your people. Sometimes some of us ain't even related to this directly, but yet we walk around here as if we are. And even if we are related to it, man, get them people that goddamn props and stop playing. This is the Union. The Union represents what? I keep telling y'all symbolically, this flag is really talking about the unification of the Blood and Crips. That's what it's really talking about at the end of the day. And once you get the right knowledge and the right know-how and application with some shit, it's going to be game on. The white just simply represent the peace, the truce between the red and the blue. And you see it play out in politics between Republican and Democrat, red and blue. What side you on? I'm always riding with, I'm riding with the Abe Lincoln side. Better know what side it is. Our bank was right here. So this is a new building. That's basically the annex building to the Treasury. Yeah, where they make the money at. We had our bank on this land. And this is me back on, I forget what year this was, because I took the screenshot back then when I actually made it. But what did Kate tell me from the she gave me a link. And she said, I searched the Congressional Globe and found that Senator Henry Wilson of Massachusetts did introduce the bill, Senate Bill 443 on February 13th. That's tomorrow. Hello, 1865, to incorporate a Freedmen's Savings and Trust Company. She attached the Globe, gave me some pictures, gave me the link. To your question about whether champion the cause or not, I'm still doing some research. I'll get back to you on that. This is me communicating with the librarian at the Senate. See, I ain't got time to be playing with you emotional niggas about facts. I want to know what's sitting in the library and what's on the record. Yo, Kate, run this on the record for me. I need you to pull up and see what Henny did. Did he pass this bill? All right. And this is important because here's the bill right here in the middle. Mr. Wilson, remember Dennis the Menace? Hey, Mr. Wilson. Mr. Wilson asked by unanimous consent, obtain leave to introduce a bill, Senate Bill 443, to incorporate the Freedmen's Savings and Trust Company, which was read twice by its title, referred to the Elect Committee on Slavery and Freedmen in order to be printed. So here is a man, Mr. Henry Wilson. When was Henry Wilson born? 216. He becomes Grant's first vice president. Look it up. Henry Wilson becomes Grant's first president. He married on 10/28, my son's birthday. Died on 11/22 on my mama's birthday, and born on my birthday. But see, this is what I be telling y'all, man, for real. So, because see, you got to be. See, I don't care. I don't care. Nobody tell me. I ain't gonna say only. I'm just gonna say what I am. I'm the nigga that's gonna give you both the spiritual and physical correspondence of what the fuck is happening around here. The only other person I'm a vouch for that's playing in both lanes is Minister Jew. Now, everybody else do what you do, and they doing what they do and do that well. Do your thing. But when it comes to the spiritual law of correspondence and what's going on in the realm of physicality, from thought manifest into physical things, from the invisible to visible, and how things is moving, I'm yo nigga. Me and my brother. So when I go back on some old work 2014, getting in gratitude, bouncing your thoughts off the heavens and really changing your internal state of being, they say, hey, bro, here go your bill, 69.08, and your new bill is going to be another 69.08, and you owe us $138.16, and your payment is due on 11/22/14. Didn't I tell you this man died on 11/22? And so your previous balance is 138.16. You paid nothing. First arrow, you paid nothing. Therefore, 69.08 plus 69.08 is 138.16. You owe us 138.16, bro, because you paid us nothing. But the new charges is minus 138.16. Your total amount due is zero. When is it due? You don't have no payment due. And I said, oh, okay, the spirit coming through. What's happening? What do 138 mean? Oh, let me go to the Kabbalah. 138 is Ben Elohim, mean son of God. Wait a minute. 138.16. I'm born on the 16th. Wait a minute. This dude who introduced this bill is born on the 16th. Okay. All right. It's due on 11/22. My mama birthday. Okay. Son of God. Oh, I told you my mama name means friend of an angel. No, friend of God, and her middle name is Angela, which is angel. Stop playing with me. Son of God. So I really can raise my flag and say, yo, fuck y'all. I done this work to an extent and love God so much that he showed me a sign that I'm one of his sons down this motherfucker. And I bear the seal of the Aquarian age. Get the fuck information when I say get information. But I ain't an egotistical nigga. I don't do that. I don't blow that whistle like that. Let people do what they do. Let people do what they do. But you have no idea, because I ain't even showed y'all some shit on how to make it happen in this reality. How to target the Ku Klux Klan and see shit go down at Stone Mountain. Shit that happened years ago in the past in the Ku Klux Klan time era, and you doing shit in prayers and God is answering you. Stop playing. Some shit I know, and some shit if I don't know, I tell you I don't know. Just gonna tell you the truth. Sorry if I'm getting a little riled up, man, but it's Abraham Lincoln we talking about, man. We talking about one of the most critical things in history. I love this history. What do you mean? We won. Oh, we won. We free. What do you mean? What do you mean? White supremacy? No, don't put me back on the Confederate side. What are you trying? No, don't do that to me. I don't want to be that. No, I refuse to allow you to psychologically put me in any form of bondage. No, I don't want none. I do not. Sorry, I don't. And listen, man, listen, I promise you, if you go look at Senator Henry Wilson's record, it said he got married on 10/28. Mike P in the chat, he looked like he a white boy, your average white boy from Rhode Island, right? His birthday is 10/28, and me and him be rapping like we some abolitionists going back through war and reenacting some shit. White boy, right? That's my John Brown. You know what I'm saying? That's my abolitionist from Rhode Island. And he born on 10/28. You see, like, listen, man, this mystic cores of memory thing is real. The question is, what are you choosing to remember? What are you choosing to say happened, which is not even the truth that you're starting to remember? Because that is creating a future problem. You're not allowed to talk about problems, man. Not publicly. You can come together as a council and talk about a problem, but you can't get up here and talk about white supremacy and all that kind of stuff. You can't. That's dangerous. You can't do that. You can't do that. That violates the law of attraction. Okay. So Freedmen's Bank got a new building January 7th, 2016. Treasury Secretary Jacob Lew, ooh, I bet you he Jewish, renamed the Treasury Annex the Freedmen's Bank building. So that building that I showed y'all, the annex building, the extra building off of the Treasury where our bank used to be on that site, In 2007, under the Obama administration, the Secretary of the Money, Treasury, say, listen, man, we're going to name this building the Freedmen's Bank Building. So if that's the Treasury, pay attention to what I'm showing y'all. Pay attention, black man. If that's the Treasury, which deals with the money, and he names that after us, because our bank was there, and Salmon P. Chase used to be Secretary of the Treasury first when Lincoln put him in position, and then Chase Bank is named after him, where's our money at? When you black folks are really ready to wake up, black banks, and really have a conversation with government and have a seat in Washington, D.C. as your own bank, the building has already been prepared for us, just sitting there waiting. There's a scripture that I'm going to paraphrase that says something about you'll be able to walk into the house already furnished. It's already there. Already there. Okay? Yeah. I guess he was one of the good Jews. All right, man. I ain't gonna scare y'all. Oh, see that Masonic symbol? Oh, you're Mason. I told you that you're Mason. He gonna get y'all. All right, so what I got here, man, to accept and be at peace with God, man, one must solve the black and white issue. In order to solve this issue, one must understand and then implement spiritual law and physical law that mirrors the former. Hence, in Masonry, man, you have the left side, which is the side of physicality, the physical globe, and the right side, you have the side of spirituality, which is the celestial law. That's all that represents, man. You here to understand polarity and get this shit in order. Okay. All right. I'm waiting for the invite. I don't know how my brother Rich gonna respond. To the if this subject matter is worthy enough for that audience at that physical event that he do, so we can get the mass attention on it. You know what I'm saying? And whip this shit in shape. Because listen, I ain't here to just be talking when it gets to this. I want to see some action. And we lay out a blueprint that's so easy to wrap this thing up that is absolutely the starting point. You know what I'm saying? But we got to tell the truth about history. And so this is outdated, but invisible idea of collective success, whatever that may be, innocent until proven guilty. I'll just say that right now. And that's all I can say with that right there. But that symbolized something else. Senate Bill 444. I wrote a bill. I said, man, let me go ahead and just start tinkering around and write a bill. And just give this as a template just to give an idea of what it could look like. You want to see what that look like? We're going to call it Senate Bill 444. Shout out to the blue pill. Let's use numbers for our own good then. So chapter 1, an act to dedicate to the Freedmen's Building to African Americans of their council to whom they elect to take effect January 1st, 2024. Thus reopening the Freedmen Savings Bank. At the closure of the Freedmen Savings Bank in 1874 under federal protection, the bank lost $3 million, whereas this act will ensure the loss in the amount of, at that time for inflation, what's that, $68,729,000. So we asking the government to go ahead and ensure that when we come back in power. Chapter 2, an act to distribute federally owned public lands in 1 acre parcels not to exceed 40 acres per parcel of legal age of 18 years old in the amount of $1,000 not to exceed $4,000 per acre. So we can retroactively act and say, hey, if Lincoln was selling land at 18 cents an acre in today's time, that's $1,000, then we want it at $1,000 an acre for the federal publicly owned land so we can continue in the truth. Chapter 3, an act of relief of credit, whereas African Americans with a credit score below 700 for the past 3 years, the debt shall be resolved, thus giving the applicant a credit score of 700, only redeemable once within a certain period because niggas will start lying and scamming. Okay. So the thing is, we really could do it if we put our minds to it and have a collective think tank to do it. You know what I'm saying? Like, this ain't really my lane. If I put my eyes on it, I could, but this ain't my lane. You know what I'm saying? This is for those of jurisprudence and law. You know what I'm saying? Like, I like to go to mountains and leave me alone, to be honest with you. But I also like to see the right thing being done. Ephesians 6:12, right? and they really say cosmic forces, but this is not a wrestling match against a human opponent. We are wrestling against the rulers, the authorities, and powers who govern this world of darkness and cosmic forces. I promise you, it's a cosmic forces that control evil in the heavenly world. Okay. So are there Confederate ghosts and spirits is what we got to ask ourselves, right? This is a picture of me. We took this picture ourselves from our crew when we was in New Orleans. There's a ghost riding a bike, ladies and gentlemen. You can see through her. So when they say you can't take money with you, bullshit, because she must got something. She got a bag in her basket. They got some physicality on the ghost side. So you're not, I'm not buying that. You ain't been there to tell me that it ain't there. So I'm not buying it. Okay. But my point is, are there Confederate ghosts? That go dude in New Orleans on the left-hand side, on the ghost tour. On the left-hand side is a ghost tour. Homeboy head ain't even in the picture. Well, I got my own experience. My daughter, that's a surviving twin. When I took a picture of her washing the dishes, like, oh, she's so cute. She washing the dishes. Her head disappeared in the picture. All right. So, excuse me. Let me show you a little something. That's why I tell you we ain't worry about nothing. And I don't want y'all to worry about nothing. And those of you who are new to me, don't you worry about a thing when it comes to idea of white supremacy. So these dudes decided to meet in 1915. The first Klan was destroyed. This is the second Klan. Shout out to Grant. He destroyed the first Klan. Look into it. It's called the Enforcement Acts, also known as the Ku Klux Klan Acts. Okay. They destroyed the Klan. The second Klan gets started, and they wanted Christian Stone Mountain as their spot, baby. That's their spot. I said, okay, motherfucker. You want Stone Mountain? Okay. I'm going to tell you what we're going to do to Stone Mountain. Let me blow this up. Let me show you what we do to Stone Mountain. So you see that that highlight on the properties, I wanted to identify that it was Thursday, April the 9th, 2015, when I had got that flyer. Okay. But it originates from a 2017 file when I originally created it. Okay. Now, today, as you saw, it says 2020. So February the 8th, when I was doing this presentation in 2020, I'm showing you how I recreated the file on April the 9th, but its origins is in 2017. All right. So on 7/11 in 2015, the 7/11, I'm saying, yo, we about to murk these niggas spiritually. I'm about to put a hit on the Ku Klux Klan spiritually. That's what I'm on. I'm in my warrior bag. I'm rolling with Abe Lincoln and Martin Luther King's speech, been to Stone Mountain from the mountaintop. Yup, we about to put it in. So on 7/11, we going 7/11 at Tom of the Moor, 7/11 Beyonce, 7/11 book release. Then that Sunday is the 12th. We're gonna go to Stone Mountain and do the stump off. So you see me target these dudes. So you gotta learn how to. No, I ain't gonna tell you that. So on July the 10th, when we got into town that day, like we didn't even get a chance to, damn, we just got here. Hold up. Confederate flag at Stone Mountain Park stolen. What? What do you mean? So listen, I showed y'all that months prior, April 9th of 2015, we created the file. Because April 9th is what? A mystic court of memory. What was April 9th? April 9th was the day that General Lee surrendered. The Confederates gave up. We can't beat y'all. The slaves free. We can't beat you. Right? So I said, okay, I know what to do. Size this up, put it right here, boom, push it out, right? So if Saturday is 7/11, I'm telling you, Allah, he ain't got a lot. We getting in town on Friday. So we got in town on Friday. When we touched down, probably before some of us touched down, the Confederate flag goes missing. That ain't nobody stealing. That's the spirit. Even if it was physical stealing, what possessed the person to steal it? When we already dealing with imagery that we aiming at you. That's the question you got to ask. This is the KKK's mountain. The infamous KKK. Oh my God, this is white supremacy. Their flag is taken down just for me putting the image and lining up the heavens and let's go. What are you talking about? What? Man, I roll with the archangels. I roll with the God. Right? What are you talking about? I don't care what, man. That ain't nothing what they working with. Nothing. Okay, so that's gone, right? So then it gets better that weekend, right? And you see it. It's say 2015, all right? So then what happened? It said the 11th and 12th. The 12th was the stump off, right? So then that following Tuesday, what happened? All of a sudden, the NAACP wants to banish Confederate symbols from Stone Mountain that Tuesday. Wait a minute. Are y'all following this shit? Are y'all seeing? This is what I call Moorish magic right here. Okay, but it's all about the graces of the creator. But this is why I get in my Moorish magic bag right here. What are you talking about? So the flag comes up missing when we come and touch down. We really ain't got to do nothing. We go do the work, and then 2 to 3 days later, all of a sudden the NAACP gets an idea that, yeah, we want to banish those symbols off. I bet you do. Where you get the idea from? We're putting it in the ether. Go read the fucking Kabbalion. We just studied it. It tells you when you operate on the higher planes of mental thought that you will absolutely can. You will basically program other people of a lesser frequency. That's what it says. It's a reason why your spiritual prophets keep going to mountains. They don't go to the beach. They go to the mountains. Ain't nothing wrong with the beach. Okay. Ain't nothing wrong with the beach. I know y'all beach lovers. Ain't nothing wrong with the beach. I go to the mountains. Okay. But what are you talking about? Man, stop it, man. Stop playing with God. Allahu Akbar. Stop playing. So let me rewind it 2 years prior. Same pocket, April the 7th. I said April 9th, General Lee surrendered. I made the file April 9th, 2015. Let's go 2 years prior. 2013 spring equinox. We've been to the mountaintop. That's what we're going to call it. Why we say we've been to the mountaintop? Well, Martin Luther King said it, but why we say it? Because we was there March 21st, 22nd, 23rd, equinox weekend of 2013. We was there. All right. And when we went there, something interesting happened. At the bottom, it was super cloudy when we got there. And when it was cloudy. So this is what I said. I said, Jew, everybody get in 2 columns of formation. Jew, me and you gonna do what we do. We're gonna do our banishing pentagram. To the east, to the south, to the west, to the north. Okay? We know what name to say to deal with the elements. So what you see is poof, be gone. Clouds have always been synonymous with cloudy thoughts. So in 2013, we go into the KKK headquarters, the mountain. That's their spiritual headquarters. They burned the cross up there and everything. Okay. All right. Got something for you. All these white clouds, symbolic for white Confederate thoughts. Not to banish that. And that's what you see. Now, Nikki Love in the chat went to the beach and they was met with clouds and they did it again. I didn't go on that trip. Jew was on that one, right? And they made the clouds disappear in their section on the beach while all of the beach had clouds, but their section. She was there. She can bear witness. See, I ain't lying. I ain't lying. I ain't lying. Now, hold on, because I can't show you something that's coming behind that. Oh, I can show you this though. Hold on. Boop. So what happened in 2013? About a week later, because mind you, we said April the 13th is when we did the blog talk show, right? So this would have been about 2 weeks later. Petition wants Stone Mountain Confederate carving removed. Really? So didn't we see that when we went in 2015 that happened? The NAACP came about 2 days after us. And now, a month later from when we was initially there, all of a sudden another idea pops up to remove this. And we're purposely going there, banishing and doing these spiritual things against white supremacy. Your God is bigger than white supremacy. Way bigger than that. Way bigger than that. But see, when you ain't of the spiritual cloth, you don't believe in the invocation of God to handle this type of problem. And that's okay. Play your position. But when I come from this position, which a very high position, might I add, when you talk about this astro science, we in the sky. When you talk about spirit, we beyond physicality. If you talking nationality and you talking about opening up schools and opening up museums and CMOS, ain't nothing wrong with that. And we should do those things in the realm of physicality. I'm talking about spirit. So therefore, my position must be higher. If we're just gonna keep it a buck. And I'm not saying this shit out of ego. I'm saying it's for we can make this shit make sense. Voltron form up. That's what I'm saying. Put the puzzle pieces together, man. This ain't hard. I tell y'all what. We're gonna petition Brother Rich. I'm gonna send y'all to Brother Rich, petition him. You need to bring Noble on to spit this shit to the people. The people need to see this shit. Physically. The next one, I don't care if it's in 2026, the next one, they need to see this shit and really get it. Because you need to know that the invisible spirit force is on your side. All right, so we passed that. All right, we passed that in eclipse times and all that stuff. We passed that. Let me make sure I ain't got nothing else back here. Oh, kind of show you how spirit works too. Scientists confirm Black Panther spotted near fictional setting of Black Panther movie. Ooh. You mean to tell me? And black people went out in droves for this. What? Man, you ain't down for the cause if you ain't go see Panther? Man, y'all tripping. But a Black Panther literally was spotted on a fictional movie set. Now we about to slip into dimensions. And animals have always been used as, for lack of a better word, I'm just going to say symbols. I ain't going to say the word I want to say. Always been used for symbols, totems. They pick up on a frequency. We're superior to them to a degree. So therefore, they can do our bidding and pop up. And we're going to do that tonight. But you got to be in the Patreon. What we're going to do tonight, I'm going to show you Abe Lincoln. I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you because today is the full moon in Leo. You're supposed to be stepping into your full power, your full potential. And you can make that in totality in life. And even if we don't see it, because we got to give our space, give ourselves time to grow, even if it's just for this year, you better see what is your full potential to realize this year. Okay. All right. So I got to kind of keep removing this stuff because there's certain stuff that, yeah, that was actually it, really. I got some real estate stuff. I done sold some of them properties and whatnot. And so, yeah, you know what I mean? So, yeah, that's pretty much it for me. You better leave my man Abe Lincoln alone. See, this is why I'm going to bust their head. I'm going to show you the spiritual correspondence to what I'm saying to make all this sense, to make it make sense. You know what I'm saying? We can be in our emotions about the physicality. Okay. All right. That's just denial at that point. But to me, it's liberating when you know, oh no, what? There's an invisible force that's actually corresponding to these things. Confederate flag missing. 2 petitions to take it down. Every time I go, I'm 2 for 2. I'm 100%. I don't go there with that. I've been there a few times, but when I go with that intention, I always get something. And I don't. And listen, man. I can show you. I can show you some stuff. But you know, when you figure it out and what this is about, man, use this stuff to progress in your life. You know what I'm saying? And I always say the science and the correspondence ain't the hard part. The hard part is the discipline. I know because I live it. I know if I've been, bro, listen, for example, let's just take this for example. Today's the full moon in Leo. You only get one full moon every year in one zodiac sign. Duh, because it takes a year, right, to move. Okay. Now, if the full moon, let's just say, represents completeness, and we look at your birth chart, let's deal with money. You only get one full moon in your money house every year. We don't even know when that is. And the moon, without a shadow of a doubt, here's the science of it. There's something called spring tides and neap tides. When the moon, the earth, and the sun are in a straight line with each other, and the moon is not on the side of the earth in reference to the sun and earth, the tides on the earth, the high tides become higher because it's stronger because everything is in a straight line. The moon has the strongest gravitational pull on the earth because it's closest to us. The sun exerts more gravity because it's way bigger, but it being so far away, its pressure isn't as strong as the moon. Okay. When all three of these bodies are in a straight line, whether it's the new moon or full moon, the energies are at its strongest. So even for a new moon or a full moon, you're only going to get that phase moon in your money house once a year. What's up with us not knowing when this is going to be? But I can get on myself. I'm telling you, I'm speaking for self. Like, nigga, you been through this, science, but why are you not playing by the rules? Where you at? Yo, you in real estate, but you ain't playing by the rules? Oh, you ain't playing by the rules? JP Morgan said millionaires don't use astrology, billionaires do. What you doing, homie? Oh, okay, it's fine. You wanted to see if you can get it from the muscle. And I did. That was a challenge for me. Could be ego, whatever. I just wanted to see if I can do it from the muscle. Can I learn the skill set from the muscle and get it? Okay, now that you see that you can build it and you got it from the muscle, okay, now it's time to start playing what you know, homie. Stop playing and get the people the game while you do it at the same time. So now you know how I be. Spirit tell you when to do it. So it's like, okay, God tell you when to do it. All right, go ahead. Give it to him. Give it to him. Go ahead. Let's go. Let's go. So the very first person that signed up, shout out to Tanisha. Salute you, man. Alhamdulillah. Meaning all praises due to God. When she got the 1 year money moon alignment, right? I'll show y'all what it looked like on Patreon. For those of you who may not be in the Patreon, and you don't have to be a member of the Patreon. Do you? You know what I'm saying? Do you? You gotta be a member of the Patreon. All right. But when you go to the shop tab on the Patreon and you see this right here, this one year money moon consultation for only 300 measly bucks, right? Listen, I'm gonna line up when the moon is in your money house. Like, use this information for your personal prosperity. And if your prosperity is in the place where you can bless others, then bless others too. I'm just waiting for the right environment to come where we can collectively, in a sense, have a conversation and have what I call the joint chiefs of staff. The military do it. The military say, hey, chief of the Army, chief of the Navy, chief of the Air Force, chief of the Marines, we the joint chiefs of staff. We're going to come together and have conversation together just as a body, a military body politic. But I represent my respective division. And we just want to know what's up with everything. You know what I'm saying? Like, when do we get to that point? You know what I'm saying? So it's cool to philosophize about shit, but when can we put some things in action? So we're able to when we're able to branch outside of self, then do that. You know what I'm saying? But use this information to empower yourself. So I ain't sitting about here showing you, man, listen, and my heart of hearts, I really want to say, I know that if I wanted to create magical chaos in the world and things of that nature, then we'd be trying to do that. Man, ain't nobody around here trying to put spells on people and create chaos and whoop-de-whoop. Let the world do what it do. Let the world mind what is world business. Just on the fringe on whatever it is I'm doing. You know what I'm saying? Against what I call my free will in that sense. But in the meantime, I'm working about trying to increase the light in my soul. I'm trying to glow. I'm on an 8-day fast. I'm gonna look good besides my son messing up my mustache, but that's another story. But I'm trying to do some other things spiritually for me. You understand? And physically in my world with the information. You see what I'm saying? And if the day come, the day come. If it don't, it don't. Whatever. You know what I'm saying? But use this information to better yourself and to empower yourself. Because ain't no way in heck that like when we look back and we be like, wait a minute, hold on, wait a minute. The Chinese got a lunar calendar. Their new year about to pop up, and that's based off the moon. The Muslims and Islam got an Islamic calendar. That's a lunar calendar. The Hajar calendar. Shout out to Hagar because it's really named after the black woman, the black Egyptian woman Hagar from the Bible. You know what I'm saying? So that's a moon calendar. The Jews use a moon calendar. And Rosh Hashanah, that starts every time the new moon roughly is in Virgo, which is the only feminine constellation in the sky out of the 12 that we have. So they tapped into the feminine for real, for real. The moon is considered feminine, subconscious, also deals with women's menstrual cycles and reproductive systems as well. But the constellation Virgo is a woman, and then they start their new year right there when the new moon pops up right there. So when the conscious sun, conscious mind, and the subconscious body, subconscious mind come in alignment in Virgo, the woman, then they say, oh, it's the head of the year. This is a new year for us. And then on Friday, the woman is the only one allowed to light the candles. The man can't light the candles because they say, nah, man, no. Dude, what are you doing? Don't you dare light the candles. Let her light the candles because who she is a template of the vessel in which God manifests himself as a concept, or in the concept known as the Shekinah. So all this reference to the women for. So this is a your lunar calendar. You're like, whoa, hold on. They're working principles. They are working principles. They're working laws. And the best we gonna sit around. Happy Jew year. What? Man, if you knew this calendar system was lined up, man, this is the best new year possible. Don't worry. Come to the Friday sermon. I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna show you where the Quran said the angels come down in the span in one day, which in our days is 50,000 years. So now the question is, ooh, that's one day for you, but 50,000 years for us. What's the connection to something 50,000 years in distance? And when I show you this, listen, the Quran, I'm going to say as of now until I see otherwise. We can change our mind. We should if we see, contrary evidence. The Quran comes from another dimension that we would call dimension. It comes from another place that sees this entire solar system, bare minimum galaxy. Now I'm going to say, because it sees the galaxy, what I'm going to show you. It sees the galaxy, which, by the way, it takes us 225 to 250 million years as a solar system to go around the galaxy. It takes us a quarter of a million years, not a quarter of a million, but a quarter million years. Okay, really a quarter of a billion. That's what that is. 250 million years to go around the galaxy. The Quran was revealed from an observational point that sees beyond that. And it's telling us that's how we get our instruction from this particular region of space. The Quran says, in the heaven is your provisions and everything that is promised to you. That's what it says. That's what it says. I'm just being a messenger, man. I'm just relaying the message, man. It's the Aquarian age, the age that rules astrology. So it would take an Aquarian to come and show you how it worked. Listen to your Aquarian brother. I ain't here to hurt you, man. I'm not here to hurt you. I promise you. I'm not here to hurt you. I ain't here to rob you. I ain't here to take nothing from you. I ain't here to do that. All right? I just ain't. That ain't what I'm on. All right? All right? So if I give you some game, take it, man. Take it. Discipline yourself to stay what I'm sharing with you. And it's gonna work in your favor. I couldn't have got this far. I couldn't have been cloaked and covered by the graces of Allah, to be honest with you, this far. You know what I'm saying? For things to work out in our favor and have the testimonials that we have. Okay. All right. All right. So listen, man, we can have a conversation if y'all want to open it. If you gotta listen, you want to say something, you can say something. You know what I'm saying? I think I got all my supporters in here. You know what I'm saying? But I wanna go where the smoke at. You know what I mean? I want to go where the smoke at. I'm gonna have to start taking a page out my brother book from the D. Anton Daniels. Only open up the mic if you disagree with what I say. Let's talk about it. You know what I'm saying? But the link is right there if you want to mic up, got a question, comment, you know what I'm saying? Hit it. Hit it. Hit it. Hit it. Man, let me see something, man. No, sir, not yet. What do you say? My dad's calling me. What my pops want. Let me see. I thought I can read the transcription on the voice, man. Through the mail. So what emergency? If you still got the numbers, what probably call me back. Okay, I gotta check that mail. All right. We good? Hey, man, thankful for you as well. Balance in all things. You know what I'm saying? We straight? We good? All right, man. Happy birthday to the OG who turned 216 today. I got so much stuff on 216. The time of the prayers in Arabic, if you understand what's going on from one point to the one point, encompasses 216 degrees with the 5 Salat prayers. Maybe I'll put that in this upcoming lecture Friday as well. But those of you in the Patreon, look on the page because we got a double header for those of us to do our Sufi chant thing because we're still on at 8:30 for that. Then I believe an hour later at 9:30, we're gonna tap in on this moon frequency and do this visualization to keep Abe Lincoln spirit, keep the OG spirit moving. Because my man said the mystic chords of memory. So therefore, we are obligated to be of duty mystically when it comes to that. You know what I'm saying? So we got a double header tonight. All right. And on the Sufi chant, at the end, I'm going to introduce a new chant that you're going to study pretty much for the month till we get to the next full moon. So that's what we do. If you kind of like, what are you talking about? Hey, you gotta be in the Patreon, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on over, man. Stop playing, spirit team up, and get activated on these things. You know what I'm saying? And here I'm gonna give you some free game. I'm gonna give you some free game. And see, those in Patreon, I'm telling you, I better be paying attention. All right. I told y'all to work on 4 areas of your life and set this up as a rectangle. So get a piece of paper or put it in your mind's eye right now. I want you to draw a rectangle horizontally. Okay. I'm giving you this because I love you, man. For real. I want to see you win. And I also believe if you win and when I win, we all win together, then we all can win and keep on winning for eternity. We shall forever win. Abe Lincoln said we're going to be free forever. So we should forever be winning and growing as well. And the faster we can come together and we can do some big shit. Right. Listen, I'm in a place where I got a market where houses is selling over $500 a square foot. The problem is, since it's so prestigious up there, you think there's any land parcels that's just empty land? No, it's not. So you know what you got to do? You got to buy a house on market at $200 some a square foot. Buy it on market so you can have title to it, cash, and therefore knock it down and then rebuild $5,000 to $6,000 square feet, and you're gonna take home over $1 million. But you're gonna have to have about 700,000 to 900,000 to get in the game and buy the house on market as is. You can't get a loan to do it because usually they ain't gonna give you a loan to knock down the house, right? It's too many variables in that, right? So you can do anything. You can get a hard money loan and act like you're gonna flip the house, and then you demo it. Now it's too late, and they stuck with it. But I don't even like doing business that way. You feel me? If we can really about it, we should buy the house in cash, knock it down because we own it when we bought it in cash, and rebuild something big, 500,000 to 600,000 square feet, and then sell that thing, and it's a north of $1 million take home. Take home. Okay, so we should be doing some big shit, and that's where my mind is at, doing big things. All right. So anyway, a rectangle horizontally on your top left corner of your rectangle, put God. On the bottom left corner of your rectangle, put value. Okay. I want you to hold value here. All right. The bottom right corner of your rectangle, I want you to put health. And this also could be your work as well. The work you're going to do, work you do for money. All right. In the top right corner of the rectangle, goes down right here, baby. This is money, joint finances, investments. This is your portfolio. This is sex. This is also metaphysics. So however you want to put down joint finances, metaphysics, and gotta put that sex, baby. We gotta have it. I'm sorry. I'm such a low vibrational cardinal being. I'm sorry. I mean, should have just made me an angel with wings, man. I'm like, dang, man, this ain't. Man, listen, I don't listen, man. I don't feel like being Yogananda and Saint Charbel and Mother Teresa and Buddha. Like, yo, we can't make love no more. But you're gonna fall in love with God, and it's gonna be better than love. I promise you. I don't know if I can gamble that, man. Hold on, man. What if it ain't? But it is, I promise you. I don't know, man. Prove it. Show me right now. You know, but anyway. I yearn for a path of lovers to make it to the light. That's about to be my new prayer. Because I really do. Like, nah. This the West, homie. So in the West, like we ain't born in the East with that. Like the lovers got to be able to make it. The Quran says, and we made you from one soul that you may be mates. And we put, so the Quran knew about soulmates. We made you from one soul that you may be mates. And we put in between you love and mercy. Oh, we got to talk about that because mercy kind of something happened that kind of fuck up the frequency here, right? So I talk about that. But anyway, so this is known as the mystic rectangle. Okay. Basically, on that top left corner, this is the 12th house. That top right corner is the 8th house. The long leg of the triangle at the top, it's an easy flow of communication from one thing to the next. So if you work those two principles, they should flow. Okay. The bottom of the rectangle, bottom left, the values connecting over to your health, those flow. And then the short arms that connect it create opportunity. So what am I telling you? I'm saying create your foundation. What is your spiritual life like? For me, it's praying 5 times a day and doing at least 1,000 dickers after prayer, or zikr, as we call it, which means remember. Okay. So that's me uttering divine names or trying to get into a meditative state or whatever it may be. But right now, it's definitely more of the divine names, especially when it pertains to the moon being in my money house. What name deals with that? Allahi, I swear to you, Patreon can vouch for it. I was in my cycle and I got a $10,000 check. And dude, we talked about this. My office landlord is one of my investors. We talked about this last week, though. I wanted it last week, but he was like, "Yeah, give me Friday or Monday." And I think he came through on Monday. Later Monday, he came through, and I was like, "Boy, look at this! It came in my money cycle. When I wanted it, it wasn't my money cycle yet. My money cycle was coming up. You know what I'm saying?" And yesterday, he gave me the green light to go ahead and deposit it, which I cashed it. Right. So I did good on this money cycle, and I was one number off. I saw the license plate 777. I said, let me go play that. And I was one number off of nailing that thing. All right. Came out 177. All right. But anyway, what is your spiritual life in that top corner? What is your daily discipline and your routine, and spirituality, your reverence for the creator? That's important. What it like praying 5 times a day and then 5,000 dickers, that starts to get you in a whole nother groove for me. Okay. But I'm taking time to commune with God. So that's the first thing. The second thing at the bottom left where it says value, what do you value that can bring you that don't even have to do with money? What do you value that you would do for free? Like it just brings you joy and pleasure out of it. It can turn into money, but see it as your own personal art of expression. What is it that you value? And guess what? Just do it for the year because we change, we grow. So for me, right? What I value is the information I just shared with you. So this is a thing I made called Before Lincoln, right? The Secret Plan to End Slavery, Breaking the Curse, History Black Americans and All Americans Need to Know. And my man Filio Unio, the Brothers of Unity, signed off on it. Because we don't know about some of the founding fathers that was putting in work on our behalf. I'm passionate about this. This ain't got nothing to do with money, but this is my value. I value this because I know what this information, as Minister Jew says, and why Minister Jew said, and I take, man, Minister Jew in high regard. Damn it, that nigga is a saint in my book. Saint Jew said this is the only history that I want to hear about. Only history I like. Jew ain't into Egypt. He ain't into the Sumerians, the Anunnaki. You ain't gonna get that nigga to do nothing outside of quantum manifestation in the Bible. It ain't happening. He's not interested. I'm telling you, he's not. But he said this is the only history that he wants to hear that intrigues him, because he knows that when people understand this, that unlocks the mental slavery, the locks that we have on ourselves, and thus obviously that plays into the work that he does to help people grow and see the power within their own consciousness. But we got a block that's there. And so this is the only, so I value that. So in that bottom left corner, what is it that you value? Now in that bottom right corner, right? Health, right? So me and TK, maybe day 8, about to, inshallah, we going on another 40-day all liquid fast, right? What are you doing health-wise? You need energy? Come on, man, look it up. Do you need iron? Do you need sea moss? What you doing? You know, yeah, I'm starting to slim down. Hold on, man. I got dumbbells. I'm about to get me some little, I'm about to get a little bit of guns going on around here. Like, what are we doing in the realm of health? Right? Because without health, you ain't gonna be able to enjoy nothing. Right? So that's important. So setting a schedule for all of these things, these 4 things, like these 4 corners in the room, the 4 corners build foundations. That, listen, man, that ain't no philosophical shit that I'm telling you. That's a architectural, geometrical physicality thing. That is just a fact. The foundation is 4 corners, man. So if that's a physical thing, then what do you think you must do physically? And where your mindset need to be in 4 areas, okay? So health, okay? And the last one, where it goes down at, the juicy juice, okay? Metaphysics, now we can study. We can have conversation about metaphysical conversations. Investments, insurance policies, real estate, inheritance, other people's money, meaning we putting our money together and we doing some things. So now your money is over there. And we get to talk about this. And this means sex too. We can get some of that too. What? Stop playing. Shout out to Scorpio in the 8th law. Alhamdulillah. Thank you for giving us the ability to be able to enjoy that. Because we could have been asexual beings. As they say ancient man was. Another conversation where you was born with a penis and a vagina and you had sex with yourself. You don't even know what it's like to experience somebody else because you can do it yourself. And you know it don't feel good. It don't feel the same when you do it yourself. You do it. All right, let me stop playing. All right. But it don't. But my point is, seriously though, these are laws, man. And these laws, in this mystic rectangle as it's called, they flow with one another. They go. And they balance each other out because the corners are all opposite one another. You understand what I'm saying? So they balance each other out. So these 4 areas of your life, man, you should create a routine around them. That's the formula. That's the heavenly law of how you use it. You understand what I'm saying? All right. All right. I'm out of here. Let me call duty calls. Let me call Pops back, see what's happening. Appreciate y'all. Love y'all, man. If you ain't in the Patreon, man, get in the Patreon and stop playing yourself. All right. Peace.